Live from Athens, Ohio, situated in Bob Wren Stadium, it is a beautiful day for baseball between the Morehead State Eagles and the Ohio Bobcats. Hello and welcome to the broadcast today. This is Brad Walker, joined by my good friend Luke Steiner. Luke, an interesting non-conference matchup today between the Eagles and the Bobcats. Morehead State comes into today 18-10, 5-4 within conference play. Ohio, it's been kind of a rough season so far, 7-18 on the year, but conference season so far has been a little better, 3-3 so far. They're coming off of a series win against Bowling Green. So Ohio, they'll look to feed off some momentum that they had this weekend tonight against the Eagles.
Yeah, Brad, when you look at these two teams, it's the tale of two completely different seasons. You have Morehead State 18-10, like you said. They lead their conference in hitting. When you look at the Bobcats 7-18, they are the last team in the standings in hitting, and they're also in the bottom part of the standings in pitching as well. But as of late, like you said, 3-3 in conference and taking 2 of 3 from Bowling Green. Coach Rob Smith knew that this team, even though they struggled in non-conference play, for them to be able to make the NCAA tournament, you have to win the you have to win your conference tournament, and that's what's most important. And he's got his team playing the best at the right time.
And you hit it right on the dot there, Luke. It's about playing when it matters. Right now, you're transitioning into that conference season. Now, you play these midweek games, obviously, to keep that rust off. So, rather the importance, that's up for the fan to debate. But for Morehead State, like you said, they're hitting really well and their pitching is really well. We actually spoke to someone in the athletic department today saying that their park is a little more hitter-friendly. But nevertheless, if you look at their batting average, it's a team batting average of 301 and an on-base percentage of 398. No matter what the ballpark is, if you're putting the ball in play where the defenders aren't, you're simply going to have those good numbers.
Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, the ballpark does help you a little bit, but 301 is something that's completely absurd for the whole team to hit, let alone just a couple of players on the team. They have 3 players that are hitting above 300, 1 over 400, and Hunter Fain. So you can tell that they're definitely not a joke on the offensive end, hitting 301, even though they may have a hitter-friendly ballpark.
So Ohio, their pitching matchup tonight, we'll dive into that. Ohio will bring to the mound Joe Rock. Joe Rock, the freshman out of Alquippa, Pennsylvania, a 7.96 ERA for the freshman Luke. It's been kind of a rough start to his Bobcat career, but what can he do tonight against the Eagles to kind of propel himself and get himself a little more comfortable on the bump?
Well, the Bobcats are very good at home. They have 4 of their 7 wins at home when you look at their schedule so far. For Joe Rock, just have your defense help you. Don't try to get every single out. Just let the Morehead State Eagles put the ball in play and let your defense make outs for you.
All right, so we will step aside for a short break for the national anthem. When we come back, we'll break down some Morehead State pitching. Sun is glistening off the Hocking River, and the field of Bob Wren, mostly sun-filled for the most part, just behind home plate. A little bit of a shadows. But before we begin this one, let's break down the starting lineups for Morehead State. Reed Leonard, the shortstop, will get things going for the Eagles, followed up by Hunter Fain, the designated hitter. He's having himself quite the year, batting .418. In the 3 spot, the center fielder, Connor Pauly, followed up by the cleanup man, first baseman Trevor Snyder. Batting in the 5-hole, third baseman Stephen Hill, and he was followed up by the left fielder Jake Hammond. Second baseman Dom Peroni bats 7th. Batting 8th is the right fielder Ryan Lane. And then in the 9th spot is catcher Brady Shoup. And as we mentioned, they will be facing the lefty from Alquippa, Pennsylvania, Joe Rock. This is his 6th start of the season, 8th appearance on the mound in an Ohio uniform. In 26 innings pitched, a 1-3 record with a 7.96 ERA. So, as we just talked about in the pregame, Joe trying to get a little bit of confidence up. But, Luke, it's a matchup today. Stat-wise, says Morehead State, but you got to play the game.
Yeah, you have to play the game, and for Joe Rock, come out here and just do what you know you can do. Don't try to do too much. Get outs, and that's all that really matters. You've struggled so far this year, but you can come out and make a statement against a very good Morehead State hitting team. It'll show that you can actually pitch, especially in the Mid-American Conference, as the reason he is here for.
Mention a good hitting Eagles team, batting .301 as a team this season, as the right-handed hitting Reed Leonard steps into the dish from the right side. Joe Rock, as I mentioned, the southpaw on the mound, just about ready for first pitch in Athens between the Ohio Bobcats and the Morehead State Eagles. Rock standing tall on the mound. Wind, his first pitch, nails the high outside corner for strike one, 0-1 count. Reed Leonard, the shortstop, a senior from Glen Allen, Virginia, batting .281 on the season, an on-base percentage of .393. As Rock ready to deliver his second pitch. This one nails the inside part of the plate. Leonard has found himself in a hole, 0-2.
One thing to watch here, Brad, is as you see the sun going down behind Bob Rim Stadium, the shadows will be coming on top of the batter, and it could affect their hitting a little bit.
So the 0-2 pitch on its way. Rock misses just outside, as that was in the middle of the left-hander's batter's box. Count moves to 1-2. Joe Rock on the season, 22 strikeouts. He's walked 24. Currently has a 1-2 count. Takes a step off the mound. Brings it inside, and that'll ring up Leonard. Strike 3 called for the first out of this game. So Leonard sits down. That's his 12th time striking out this season, and that'll bring up the designated hitter, Hunter Fain. We have our first out of the ballgame.
Another thing to look forward to, Brad, here is Joe Rock to the lefty against mostly a dominant right-handed Morehead State lineup. We'll have to see how Morehead State's able to adjust against the lefty, especially having to see him from the opposite side and with the height that Joe Rock has, being at 6'5" on the mound.
Fain, the designated hitter, steps in the right side of the batter's box. Rock's first pitch, that nails the outside corner. I tell you what, Luke, Joe Rock, command is on point right now, just in the early stages of this game.
Yeah, it looks like he's just going to dominate the strike zone, make the Morehead State team put the ball in play and beat him, make sure that he doesn't beat himself.
And he misses high and away with the fastball. That moves the count to 1-1. The Ohio defense goes as follows. Catching his mallet over in the hot corner is Levy. Shortstop Funderburg. Hafner at second, Rote at first, and then the outfield from left to right is Lucas, Richardson, and Revels. That is your Bobcat defense today, as Fain fouls that one a liner over to the right side, almost actually an OSF, what sits right behind the right field fence. So count moves to 1-2. Joe Rock yet again ahead of a batter. He is now 2 for 2, getting ahead in counts. Wind blowing just behind us out through right field. As I mentioned, an exceptional day today in Athens. So Rock set for the 1-2. The wind and the pitch. And that'll actually hit Fain on the front foot. So the Morehead State Eagles have their first batter aboard with a hit by pitch.
That's definitely not one way you want to put a runner on if you're Joe Rock, especially having 2 strikes. You've dominated the first 2 batters and kind of just a give-me pitch there, as it is able to hit Hunter Fain on the front foot, and he's now on first base, and now you have 3, 4, 5 due up for the Morehead State lineup.
So Fain stands on first for the Eagles. They have their first base runner of the game, and now a lefty-on-lefty matchup as Connor Pauly, the center fielder, steps up to the dish. So Rock, the high leg kick, brings the 2-seamer on the left side of the plate. That'll be a called strike, 0-1 to the center fielder, Pauly. Pauly, the senior from Glenview, Illinois, batting .366 on the season, a .428 on-base percentage, but an even more impressive number, .561 slugging percentage. So Rock, the stare down to first, brings it to home, tries to hit that outside part of the plate, but misses just outside. Count moves to 1-1.
It'll be interesting to see, Brad, especially how Joe Rock responds after that hit by pitch, and now he has to pitch out of the stretch. Pitching out of the stretch is something that usually younger pitchers struggle with, especially at the college level after they dominate at the high school level.
So his 1-1 pitch yet again misses outside. This one more in the right-handed batter's box. A 2-1 count. Joe Rock, this is the first time he's fallen behind in a count tonight. And actually, Rock, the last time we saw him appear was back on March 26th against Marshall. That was a relief effort. Went 1 inning, did not allow a run. But tonight, the starter for the Bobcats. Kicks the leg up, fires this one in. A bouncing ball to second, moving over to his left, and now deciding to throw to first is Hafner. So we'll have the second out of the top of the first inning. A ground out by the center fielder, Pauly. 2 down, top of the first. No runs yet between Morehead State and Ohio. And up to the plate, the right-handed hitting Trevor Snyder, batting a touch over 300 this season. But he's driven in 18 runs and now a man in scoring position. And these Eagles, Luke, they know how to drive in runs. I mean, 206 on the season. So Joe Rock going to have to be a little more careful with this team.
Yeah, they put around 7 runs on the board every single game. They've struggled the last couple of games, but no matter what, if you know how to score, you're going to be able to score runs, and you'll find a way how.
So Rock, the leg kick, brings it inside for strike 1 to the right-handed hitting Snyder. On second is Hunter Fain, the designated hitter. He was hit earlier in the inning to reach first, but he's been Morehead State's only run so far. They've yet to have a hit this game. Snyder, a .414 on base percentage this season. 1-0, this one a one-hopper over to short, backing up as Funderburg across the diamond, makes the play in time. And Morehead State will leave one runner stranded. Still scoreless after the top of the first. This is Bobcat TV. Bottom of the first inning at Bob Wren. Joe Rock had Morehead State scoreless, even though they got one aboard. Now the Bobcats come to the plate. Their starting lineup: Trevor Lucas, the left fielder, leads things off for Ohio, followed by Aaron Levy, the third baseman. Rudy Rote, the first baseman for Ohio Bats third. In the cleanup spot, second baseman Trevor Hafner, followed by the center fielder Michael Richardson. And then in the sixth spot is Traven Funderburg, the shortstop. And right fielder Cole Revels bats seventh, catcher Nathan Mallett batting eighth. And in the ninth spot, the designated hitter Jack Longo. And today they will be facing right-handed redshirt sophomore Alex Garber with a 5.89 ERA through 18 1/3 innings pitched, a 1-2 record. This is his 10th appearance of the season. Does have a save, so he's kind of a do-it-all kind of pitcher for the Morehead State Eagles. And you kind of see this a lot in midweek games, Luke, where guys who don't typically get the start, maybe they come in more relief effort, they get on the bump and they get the start just to see how they do in situations like this.
Yeah, Coach Mike McGuire probably thought to himself, well, I know this guy's going to be able to start next year with a couple of guys graduating. Why not give him here a start in the midweek games just to see how he can do, especially on the road here at Bob Wren Stadium for the Bobcats. If he is able to pitch well, this could vote very well for him as he moves on, just a redshirt sophomore for the Morehead State Eagles.
Trevor Lucas steps in the right side of the dish to face the right-hander Garber. First pitch, thought about a bunt, pulled it back, but the pitch missed low and inside. Lucas on the season, a team-high .310 batting average. Combats that with a .376 on-base percentage. Next pitch, this misses low, so falling behind in the count is Alex Garber. 2-0, bottom of the first inning. No score between the Bobcats and the Eagles. Out of the wind is Garber. This one nails pretty much every part of the plate. Count moves to 2-1. Trevor Luke, the redshirt freshman from Tustin, California, out of Foothill High School, as he hits a chopper over to third. Moving up to make the play is Hill, running, throws him out at first base. Down goes the first batter for the Bobcats.
Those balls for the third baseman that bounce right in front of the plate are usually tough, but with the new turf here at Bob Wren Stadium being installed this year, it's a little easier to field at third base because it bounces a lot harder and doesn't have the chance to hit a rock near the home plate. Just an easy hop as Stephen Hill came in to make the play on the run. That's the toughest part, just being able to throw on the run over to first and be accurate at the same time.
I feel like that's an adjustment that Ohio has had to make this year, as the pitch nails the top portion of the plate. Garber pitching to Aaron Levy, the left-handed hitting third baseman, batting .227 on the season. 0-1, this one a hard shot over to short. Having trouble with it is Leonard, but his throw does get there in time. So 2 up, 2 down for Ohio on the 6-3 putout.
Yeah, Brad, you talked about the turf. It's not really a tough difference, especially since it's going to be easier for the fielders. The biggest difference is that the ball gets on you just a couple seconds quicker because there's nothing to really slow it down. Everything's the same height on the surface. You don't have to go through anything if you're the ball. The fielders probably just have to get used to a little bit of a quicker reaction time, but most of the time they're probably easily going to be able to adjust to that.
Get more of those true hops, especially as infielders. But now to the dish for Ohio, the left-handed hitting Rudy Rode, as he skies this one behind the press box for strike one. Rudy Rode, the Bobcats very thankful for him coming back for his senior campaign. So far, just hitting .295, .367 on base percentage, but slugging just under .500. As he has driven in 20 runs this season. As this one a slow chopper over to first base. Easy play for Snyder. So 3 up, 3 down goes Ohio. No score after 1 inning of play at Bob Wren. This is Bobcat Baseball on Ohio Bobcats TV. Five, 6, 7 hitters due up for Morehead State in the top of the second inning. Still on the bump for Ohio, the left-handed hitting Joe Rock. Luke, it's actually interesting a little bit about Joe. He's an aviation major, so when he's not throwing the heat on the mound, he's flying planes. So an interesting character on the mound for Ohio today.
Yeah, that's definitely not something you see, especially in baseball. You might see that in a different sport where you have more time in the classroom, but obviously Joe doesn't care. He's putting time in the classroom to learn how to fly, and that's definitely something I wouldn't really want to be able to do. Too much pressure on me.
So hopefully Joe can fly a W today for Ohio, as he'll be facing the third baseman Stephen Hill, right-handed hitter, batting .313 this season. So Rock's first pitch of the second inning on the way. This one just misses outside to the third baseman Hill. Hill so far this season, as the next pitch, this is a two-seamer that misses high and away. Hill, in 25 games played, walked 13 times, only struck out 18, actually on a 3-game hit streak currently, so he'll look to extend that tonight in Athens. Joe Rock's 2-0 pitch. This one nails the lower right corner of the strike zone, 2-1. To Stephen Hill. Rock from the rind, his 2-1. This one just misses high to the redshirt sophomore. And also within that 3-game hit streak, fortunately, he's struck out 4 times within that span. So although he has been hitting it well, Sometimes, fortunately, he's having trouble just putting it in play. But right there, he draws the walk. That's fastball missing near the ankles. So yet again, the Morehead State Eagles have a runner on board, as this is the first time they have a runner on with nobody out, as that brings up Jake Hammond, the left-handed hitting left fielder. So Joe Rock will have to work out of the stretch for the second time in this game in just the second inning. Hammond, 18 RBIs on the season, does have 7 doubles. So if he can do that, Stephen Hill with a bit of speed at first, possibly drive in the game's first run. Looks to bunt, pulls it back, throw down to first. Just a bit off the mark. Road had to come off of position, but at that one, it had Hill off guard a little bit. Good throw down by Mallett.
Yeah, Mallett was able to just catch him off guard, and I think that if it was a good throw towards the bag, instead of moving Rudy towards the second base bag, if it was more on the first base bag, he would have been able to get him, because it looked like Hill kind of got caught sliding on the turf, didn't get there back as quickly as he thought he would.
The pitch was a ball, so count is 1-0. And this one just slips into the top left corner of the strike zone. 1-1 to the left-hander hitting Hammond. And Hammond looking to improve a little bit than what happened on Sunday against UT Martin, went 0 for 6, just 1 strikeout. Didn't find a way to score a run, so he did eventually get on base, but not exactly the outing you would like at the dish. Looks to make a little difference today, as he actually will miss on that bunt on the off-speed pitch on the left side of the zone. He's now down in the count, 1-2.
He didn't do a great job of putting the bat out in front to be able to put the ball in play on the bunt. He kind of swung at it with both hands on the bat, one on the barrel. Didn't look good on the attempt there, and I definitely don't think he thought he did as well as he thought he could there.
The senior Hammond down in the count, 1-2. No score between Morehead State and Ohio. Runner on first for the Eagles. Joe Rock stares him down and then motions to the plate. This one a soft pop fly over to the left side of the infield. Making the catch is Levy for out number 1. So Hammond goes down now 0 for his last 7. And that'll bring up to the dish Dom Peroni, the second baseman. Batting just .237 on the season, the junior. Although in his past 2 games, 4 for 8. So a little bit of an uphill trend for the senior as he steps in the right side of the batter's box. 1 down for Joe Rock. Glove chest high, moves to the plate. This one misses just outside in the middle portion of the plate to Peroni. Peroni, a .318 on-base percentage and a .356 slugging percentage, has driven in 12 runs this season. Mentioned Morehead State, 206 combined runs as a team. They definitely know how to bring them in. As this 1-0 pitch is on its way, and it nails the lower inside corner. Strike 1. 1-1 now is the count with 1 out in the top of the second inning. Joe Rock, the left-handed throwing freshman, definitely a tall figure out there, standing at 6'5", and especially on that mound, looking like a giant amongst boys. His 1-1, this one a soft grounder over short. Funderburk over to second. Now the relay throw to first in time. 6-4-3 double play ends the top of the second inning for Ohio, and we've yet to see a run come across between Morehead State and Ohio. We'll be right back on Bobcat TV. No score through an inning and a half at Bob Wren between Morehead State and Ohio, as Ohio was shut down 3 up, 3 down in the first inning by Alex Garber. We mentioned this is an offense that has been struggling this season, But Luke in the last series against Bowling Green batted .342, brought in 27 runs. If that's not a confidence boost, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I mean, if you're able to put up 27 runs in 3 games alone, as a good offense, that's impressive because that's 9 runs a game. That's more than most people score in lots of games when you look at the average, especially when the Bobcats only scoring 3.8 runs a game this season. If you take out that, they were scoring under 3.
As
Done a
leadoff
great
man,
job.
Hafner bloops one into center. This one will drop before Pauly can get to it. The junior Hafner gets the first hit of the day for Ohio. That is also their first base runner as well. So the Ohio offense looks like it's carrying over a little bit from the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, if you score 27 runs, you're obviously doing something right. And if you're Coach Smith for the Bobcats, you're hitting well at the right times. You look like you're about to catch fire going into the meat of the conference play. And if you're the Bobcats, it just has to feel good to be able to hit for once after struggling most of the start of the season.
Alex Garber will have to work from the stretch for the first time today. He'll miss low with a fastball to the right-handed hitting Michael Richardson, the redshirt sophomore, playing center tonight, batting .245 on the year, only driven in 2 runs, but does have 4 doubles. So if he can possibly move over the man at first, Hafner, as he'll check over there. Garbrick will, right-handed throwing pitcher for Morehead State. As we're still looking for the first run of this ball game, currently sitting in the bottom of the second inning, no outs for Ohio, as they just got their leadoff man aboard. Check over at Hafner yet again. He slides back just in time. As Ohio actually leads the all-time series against Morehead State at 13-11. So Morehead State trying to creep a little closer as far as a series goes. Once again, another check to Hafner. Is that almost a rhythm thing, you think, for Garbrick as he's working in the stretch for the first time?
It might be. I'm not quite sure because it looks like Hafner maybe has 1-step lead. The last couple of times, Garbrick hasn't even looked over before he's picked off. So obviously just a thing he kind of predetermined to do.
Well, it must have worked because he nails the lower right-hand corner for his first strike in this count. 1-1 to Richardson. Richardson, the center fielder, on Sunday against Bowling Green, had himself a day. 3 for 4, had an RBI, and also came in to score 3 times. So not only was he bringing in runs, but was also able to get himself across the plate as well. And they'll check over to Hafner at first yet again. Garbrick, I think that's up to about 4 or 5 times now he's checked over there. As he comes set from the waist, his pitch in, a hard line over the right side, but will slice foul and out of play. 1-2 the count to Richardson. Garbrick looking for his first strikeout of the night. Does have 22 strikeouts on the year. Looking to get his first one here for the first out in the bottom of the second inning. As he looks in for his sign. Right-handed hitter Richardson in a bit of a closed stance as he has that left foot just in front of the back right one. The 1-2 from Garbrick on the way. Misses low and outside. 2-2 the count to Richardson. Garbrick, the last time we saw him appear on the mound, March 29th against UT Martin, was a relief effort, which he did end up being the losing pitcher in a third of an inning pitched, allowed 2 hits in 1 run, which was earned as he checks Hafner yet again, slides back safely in time. Would say to get his jersey dirty, but new turf here at Bob Wren allows pretty easy for the equipment staff when cleaning jerseys.
Only thing you really have to clean is the grass stains from the outfielders if they make a diving grab, and a lot easier on the equipment staff, that's for sure.
This 2-2 is fouled straight back and over the press box as Ohio supporting their home whites today with Ohio in white, but behind it is green and then a top black stripe and a bottom black stripe with some white pants and then the green hats and helmets. Morehead State in the yellow jerseys with Morehead in blue and also numbering in blue as well with the white pants. As Alex Garbrick has a 2-2 count to Michael Richardson with nobody out from the stretch. Hafner on first. His pitch, this one a liner right in the gap between first and second. Hafner will hold at second, and back-to-back hits for Ohio has runners on first and second.
Richardson just did a great job of putting the ball where Morehead State wasn't. The second baseman, Peroni, was over towards the bag because he knew that if Trevor Hafner was going to steal, he had the bag, and he was also closer to second on the playing double play depth, and Richardson just put it right where Peroni would normally play if nobody was on. Did a great job of just putting it where they weren't.
Michael Richardson, now 4 of his last 5 if you include his Sunday outing. But now stepping to the plate, the right-handed hitting shortstop, Traven Funderburg. And I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, this man should be a national candidate for facial hair and hair in general, as he rocks the long mullet hair and then his facial hair. Absolutely great with that goatee as he looks at a strike on the lower outside part of the plate, 0-1. It's got to be tops in the nation, Luke.
Yeah, he's got to be up there for headshot of the year when you look at his headshot on OhioBobcats.com. No smile. He's got the goatee and the hair that's blonde at the bottom. It's just impeccable. You can't say anything else about it.
Sophomore from Beaver Creek looking to make a statement, though, in this game as he has runners on first and second. Actually put the bunt forward as it looks like they're trying to just advance the runner. First baseman Snyder coming in a bit. But they look over at Hafner as Garber just actually looks him back. No throw over as the middle infield playing double play depth. Corners are in as Funderburg did show the bunt. As he'll show it again. Makes contact. This one straight away. Coming in is Garber. His throw, a little hesitation. Then the throw to first is not in time. And the Bobcats have the bases loaded thanks to an infield single from Traden Funderburg. Didn't expect he was going to get a hit, but that hesitation by Garber really cost him.
Yeah, it looked like Morehead State's defense wasn't quite sure who was supposed to cover first base because the first baseman, Snyder, was making his way back to the bag, and Don Peroni was making his way from second base over to first. It looked like both of them stopped, looked at each other, and then Peroni decided to take first base. That caused that hesitation by Garber, and it caused Traven Funderburg to get the infield single.
Big opportunity in the bottom of the second for Ohio to bring across their first runs of the game. 3 straight singles, has the bases loaded for the redshirt freshman Cole Revels. First pitch to him. This one a hard liner over to short. They're over to second to 1. The relay throw to first is in time. So it is a double play, but Ohio does get their first run of the ball game. So Cole Revels an RBI ground out, but the Bobcats take the lead 1-0 in the bottom of the second inning.
Yeah, if you're Morehead State right there, you'd rather give up 1 run one run to get 2 outs instead of trying to get the runner over at first, especially since how deep that ball was hit into the shortstop near the second base bag. His only play was to go to second. He wouldn't have made it back to home in time.
So with 2 outs, stepping to the dish is Nathan Mallett. He swings through a first pitch breaking ball by Garber. 0-1 the count, 2 down. Ohio with a fresh lead, 1-0. They still have a runner on third in Michael Richardson, so just a base hit would extend the lead. The right-handed hitting Mallett facing the right-handed Garber as he will look at this pitch low and away, 1-1.
Bobcats are just going to take a run any way they can get it at this point. If they can get out to an early lead and just play with the lead, it makes you so much more comfortable as a team and makes your offense a little bit more explosive as well.
1-1 on the way by Garber. This one a high pop just behind us in the press box. And now Nathan Mallett is down in the count, 1-2. If Garber can find a way to get this final strike or final out to Mallett without that run coming in, he will have got himself out of a big situation. I mean, bases loaded, nobody out. That's a pretty tough scenario for a pitcher.
Yeah, realistically, if you can just give up 1 run with bases loaded, nobody out, that's a win in Morehead State's eyes.
Pitch on its way. This fastball misses high and away to Nathan Mallett. Just batting 179 on the season, the redshirt junior. But does have hits in his past 2 out of 3 games that he's been in, as he's not an everyday starter for this Bobcat team. This is just his 13th game played. The 2-2. Breaking ball misses just low and away, so Nathan Mallett has worked himself into a full count. 3-2, 2 down. On contact will be Richardson with 2 outs. First base is open, along as second base as well. But I'm sure Garber will look for the strikeout here as he's already allowed 1 run this inning. Comes set from the waist. The pitch. This one misses low and away. Nice block by Shoup. But Nathan Mallett will be aboard with the walk. First walk drawn today by Ohio. So now runners on the corners with 2 down for Jack Longo.
The biggest thing here, Brad, is Jack Longo is the 9th batter in the lineup. And if you somehow put him on, hit him, not quite sure how he gets on, but if it gets bases loaded, you have the top of the lineup coming up. Sure, you do have 2 outs, but it's still the top of the lineup for the Bobcats, and this could turn into a huge inning.
Longo, the junior designated hitter. Big wide stance in the right-handed batter's box. Runners on first and third. And Ohio with a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the second. First pitch by Garber looked like he reared back a little bit on that one. So he nails the lower outside part of the plate, 0-1. Longo on the season, batting just .211, but a .302 on-base percentage. And as you mentioned, Luke, if he can find a way to get on and bring that top half of the lineup up for Ohio, that'd be pretty huge. As he'll get one ball closer there as this one misses away. 1-1, 2 outs to Longo. Just 2 RBIs on the season, but a good opportunity to bring in a third with just a base hit. Righty on righty matchup. Wind dying down behind us. Garber's pitch. This one misses just outside as Shoop was unable to handle it. So Garber falls behind in the count, 2-1.
That was one of those pitches, Brad, that looked like it could have been a strike, depending if Shoop caught it. Maybe Shoop a little bit crossed up there behind the plate. Couldn't quite get a hold of that pitch completely. But if I have a feeling that if he caught that one, it would have tabbed the outside corner, and it'd be now the count in Garbuck's favor instead of Longo's.
So Garber down in the count, has pitched to Longo, thought about it, held back, and has now worked himself into a hitter's count. 3-1 with 2 outs. Longo has only drawn 5 walks this season as he struck out 10 times. But looking for his 6th here, and that would load the bases for the 2nd time this inning for Ohio. Garber, a long check at third. Now eyes the plate, his 3-1. Misses low, and the bases are loaded yet again for the Bobcats. Only difference is this time comes with 2 outs as Longo draws his 6th walk of the season. Back-to-back walks for Garber.
This is definitely the last situation that you wanted to be here in if you're Morehead State. You had a no-out double play that just scored 1 run with bases loaded. You almost got out of the inning with Mallett being with 2 strikes, but now you walk Longo. It's bases loaded, and top of the lineup coming up. This is the last thing that you wanted to happen.
Trevor Lucas grounded out in his first at-bat last inning. Right now in the bottom of the 2nd with a 1-0 lead, has the bases full. This pitch misses low yet again. Another nice block by Shoop. That's back-to-back balls thrown by Garber that Shoop has been able to block. And now we'll see a visit to the mound. And would have to imagine that a couple low pitches for Garber, losing his control just a bit. Back-to-back walks. No surprising they're going to go out there and try to calm him down a bit.
Yeah, just any way that you can get an out here if you're Morehead State, that's what you want to happen. You had 2 outs with just 1 runner on. Now you have the bases loaded. Last situation you want to be in, like I said, and obviously Coach McGuire frustrated that Garber walked 2 straight batters to load the bases. And the top of the lineup up for the Bobcats, this is really the most dangerous part, like you would think, especially with Lucas and how hot he's been.
Garber now a walk count up to 18 on the season, as that actually it's the 100 mark in walks for the Eagles pitching staff. So meeting adjourned. Bases are loaded for Trevor Lucas. This pitch, a fastball, nails the inside corner, 1-1. And it seems like Garber, when he needs a pitch, he's been throwing that fastball fairly effectively to these Bobcat hitters.
Yeah, fastball is usually your best pitch as a pitcher, and if he's able to throw that and bring his breaking pitches off of that, you don't necessarily have to throw your breaking pitches for strikes if you can always throw that fastball for a strike just to fool the batters.
And this fastball yet again nails the outside part of the plate. Garber ahead in the count, 1-2. 2 outs, bottom half of the 2nd inning. Bases are full, potential there for the left fielder Trevor Lucas as he stands in the right side of the box, wearing the stirrups today for Ohio as they already hold a 1-0 lead. Garber, a deep breath, now goes to the plate. This ball misses just low and away to Lucas. Count now tied up at 2. As Ohio, the offense has definitely been there this weekend. We keep alluding to it, but they've had a double-digit hit game in every game of that Bowling Green series this past weekend. Right now already 3 for an inning and 2/3. Garber, his 2-2 pitch. Lucas swinging, line drive in the hole between left and right field. Gonna score 1. Around third, coming home and scoring is Mallett. Now the Bobcats will try to score all 3. No throw to the plate. Jack Longo scores, and the Bobcats have opened this one up in the bottom of the 2nd inning thanks to a bases-clearing double by Trevor Lucas.
That's the exact last thing you wanted to happen if you're Morehead State. You walk 2 straight bases loaded, top of the lineup comes up, and bases clearing double by Lucas makes the lead now 4-0 for the Bobcats. He did a great job of making sure that he put it where someone couldn't get to it on the fly. It dropped in front of the center fielder, Pauly, and it looked like he misplayed it as well and bounced away from it, and that allowed Longo to come all the way from first to home and score and clear the bases. And next up is Aaron Levy, not the guy you want up after he was named MAC Player of the Week this week.
As just alluded to, the MAC Player of the Week. Looks like he can extend this game past just a one-swing lead of currently 4-0 as he looks at this pitch low and away. 1-0 is the count to Levy. So Trevor Lucas now 8 RBIs on the season. That'll be a bit of a confidence booster for him, who just went 1 for 5 on Sunday, but now 1 for 2 with that big 3 RBI hit. Levy grounded to the shortstop Leonard in his first at-bat last inning. He looks at a strike, 1-1. 2 outs, bottom of the second inning. The Ohio offense is still on a fire frenzy thanks to a 4-run inning currently, and we are still going. Levy stands in the left side of the plate. He has 10 RBIs on the season. Would like to add on one more. Garber's 1-1. This one misses inside. Nice backhand by Shoop. Count extends to 2-1. So we see time by Garber. Takes his glove off just to relax a bit. And Garber on the season a 5.89 ERA. As I mentioned, not a regular starter for Morehead State. Actually, his last appearance was a relief effort. Right now, just trying to get out of this second inning for the Eagles. So he takes a look over at second. Pitch to the plate. This one nails the inside corner to Levy. Aaron Levy, the sophomore from Cincinnati, Ohio, as he reached 10 times in that last week in order to win the MAC Athlete of the Week. Actually batted over 545, and then on Sunday went 3 for 5 with an RBI. So he's definitely been on a hot streak for Ohio as he swings through this breaking pitch, and that will end the inning for the Bobcats, but not before they bring in 4 runs on 4 hits and give themselves a 4-0 lead after 2 innings of play from Bob Wren. You're listening to Ohio Bobcats TV. Ohio explodes in the second inning for 4 runs to give themselves a 4-0 advantage over Morehead State. The 18-10 Eagles taking on the 7-18 Bobcats today. The freshman lefty, Joe Rock, going to be a lot more comfortable on the mound now that his offense has gained him 4 runs.
Pitching with the lead allows you to take risks, and when you're on the mound and you take risks, you can usually do very well because the offense of the opposing team really just wants to put runs on the board after they just gave up 4.
As he brings in a first pitch fastball for a strike, 0-1 onto the junior Ryan Lane. Playing right field today, batting .230 on the season. But don't let the batting average discourage you. He's driven in 19 runs on the year. A nice breaking ball by Rock. They check down to third. He did not go. So count moves to 1-1. So far for Joe Rock, it's been pretty smooth sailing as Morehead State has left 2 runners on base through the first 2 innings. As Rock from the wind, his 1-1. This one high chop over to first. Takes 1 step back and then a little shuffle step over to first for the first out of this third inning. Rudy Rote, excellent defenseman at first. Actually a finalist for the Gold Glove last year out of collegiate first baseman. A real true first-handed mitt, which is always really helpful if you're an infielder.
Especially at first base, because he's known for being able to scoop balls that are not on bad throws from the infielders. And if you know that as an infielder, you're not necessarily as scared once you let the ball go.
First pitch into Ryan Shoup is a strike, 0-1 with one out in the top of the third inning. And speaking of defense, Brody Shoup has been playing excellent behind the plate as well, as he's had some big stops over the past few innings. As he looks at another strike on the inside corner by Joe Rock, he's ahead in the count 0-2 with one out.
You can tell Rock's getting a lot more comfortable on the mound with that 4-run lead. He's getting the sign quickly. He's not necessarily trying to think about it too much. He's just going up there and throwing the pitch.
0-2 from Rock, a bouncer. Rock will actually take this one himself as he moves over to the right side of the mound, throws down to first in time for the second out. Tough play for a pitcher when you have to come off the mound like that and actually rapid fire one. For most pitchers, it seems like they almost struggle through. I shouldn't say for most. For some pitchers, they almost seem to struggle with that first base throw, especially if it's like that when you have to act like an infielder.
Yeah, it's tough, especially as a former pitcher myself. You overthink it because I've been throwing a lot. I should be able to throw over to first, but you overthink it, you rush it, or you take too long and you just sail it a little bit or throw it into the ground.
The shortstop, Leonard, looks at a first pitch strike, 0-1 with two down in this third frame of play between the Morehead State Eagles and the Ohio Bobcats. Leonard actually struck out looking in his first at-bat of the game, and he looks at another strike. He's down in the count, 0-2. Leonard, the Morehead State career leader in hits, right now finds himself in the hole. With two outs, Rock trying to make it 3 straight scoreless innings. From the wind, his 0-2. Leonard taps this one over to second. Coming in is Hafner. Makes the play over to first in time for out number 3. So after the Bobcats strike in the bottom of the second inning for 4 runs, Joe Rock goes 3 up and 3 down for Ohio to keep that 4-0 lead. We'll head into the bottom of the third inning on OhioBobcats.com. Sun still shining in the bottom of the third inning. And also the Bobcats shining as well. 4-0 lead over the Morehead State Eagles, coming off a 3-up, 3-down inning by the southpaw freshman Joe Rock. But now stepping to the dish, another famed lefty right now, Rudy Rote, the senior first baseman. Grounded out to first in his first at-bat, but just a staple in this Bobcat lineup that even when things are looking tough, they know they can count on Rudy to deliver the big hit.
Yeah, he's been here for 4 years. He's batted in the 3rd or 4th spot every single year, and he's shown that he's been the Bobcat player that they need the last 4 years.
So as he takes a first pitch strike, now 0-1, nobody out to Rudy Rote. Actually, on Sunday, had a rough outing against the Bowling Green Eagles, went 0 for 4. As he looks at a ball 1-1 with nobody out, leading things off the lefty Rote. Garber still on the mound for Morehead State as he works from the wind, as he misses this one low and away to the lefty Rote. And actually now 2 just for his last 17 is the Bobcats' first baseman. 3 strikeouts in that time, but has still managed to find a way to get 4 RBIs in that stretch. As he sends an absolute rocket into left field, will take a few hops before Hammond gets that one. So Rudy Rote must not like what I'm saying up here in the broadcast booth as he finds his way on base. Back-to-back innings, back-to-back leadoff hits, always going to treat you well as an offense.
The thing is with Rudy Road, he can go 2 for 80, and it doesn't matter because he can rack off 10 straight at-bats where he gets 10 straight hits. That's just the type of player he is. He isn't thinking about what happened in the last game. He's more destined on what's going to happen in this at-bat. He's shown that in the last 4 years for the Bobcats, and you can see that now. Even though he's struggling, comes up and lines a single in the left field.
So Garber will work from the stretch now in back-to-back innings. He's done so as he nails the inside part of the plate with a fastball. And speaking of back-to-back singles, Trevor Hafner was the one to get the leadoff single in the last inning. Was also the first run to end up coming around and score for Ohio as he scored on a ground out. Now currently sits 0-1. Next pitch, this one low. Shoop does a nice job of blocking it. Count moves to 1-1. Always love to have that brick wall behind the plate, as Shoop's done so today. Really gives you confidence as a pitcher if you want to throw those breaking balls low or maybe try a fastball low that most likely your catcher's going to have your back.
Yeah, it shows that they're confident to throw no matter what, and you're not overthinking it as a pitcher.
And this pitch is weighted on well by Hafner. A one-hopper into left field. Moving around second is Road. He'll get into third base safely, and Hafner gets into second base with ease. Back-to-back hits for Trevor Hafner. Also back-to-back hits for Ohio. Has runners in scoring position with nobody out. Luke, that's back-to-back innings. Back-to-back, back-to-back, back-to-back. I feel like I keep repeating myself. But Ohio now threatening yet again with nobody out.
Yeah, that's a sign that your offense is doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's putting runners on quickly, and they're dominating the pitcher on the mound. And this, as you can see, there's going to be another pitching visit on the mound. It looks like they're going to be making a pitching change because of the players coming out of the dugout from Morehead State on the first base side. And that just shows how well the Bobcats have been hitting. They have 6 hits through just two innings here in the bottom of the third, and they've just shown that they can hit in no matter what that number says, 218 as a team, and really isn't showing on the field.
So Alex Garbrick's day is over. We'll see a pitching change, and we will tell you who the new pitcher is and more. Ohio leading 4-0 in the bottom of the third inning. Nobody out. Runners on second and third. We're watching Bobcat TV. New man on the mound for Morehead State is lefty David Looney, senior from Cornersville, Tennessee. This will be his 10th appearance of the season, and in 14 2/3 innings pitched, a 3.07 ERA. Has struck out 14 on the year in 7 walks. He comes into quite the interesting situation. Bobcats have runners on second and third, thanks to a leadoff single by Rudy Rote, and then followed up by a double by Trevor Hafner. This one misses in the turf, bounces high, hit off Shoop's left foot, took just a roll towards the Bobcat dugout on the left side. So 1-0 to this count to Michael Richardson, as he actually had a single last inning as well. Ended up coming around to score the Bobcats' second run in that big 3-run double by Trevor Lucas. So Looney, the lefty on the mound, works from the stretch. His 1-0, a breaking ball that misses in the turf, 2-0.
If you're Coach Mike McGuire, you definitely didn't want to go to your bullpen this quickly. You're sitting in the bottom of the third inning with nobody out, and Garbrick's already given up 4 runs. He is responsible for the 2 runners on as well. And if you're Morehead State, at this point you just want to limit the damage and make the hole that you're already in a little bit less than what it could be.
Looney's 2-0, nails the lower inside corner, 2-1. Nobody out for Richardson. Redshirt sophomore. Only 2 RBIs on the season, but has a chance to break this game even more open as it already is, sitting at 4-0 in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Long look in for Looney. Richardson doesn't appreciate that. He'll take time to regroup himself. As the wind's starting to die down a bit, it was coming in behind us and blowing out to right field, but now is kind of going towards the left, coming across us here in the press box from right to left as a fastball hits the inside portion of the plate. 2-2 to Richardson from David Looney, the relief man, as he came in relief for Gabrick, who went 2 innings, gave up 6 hits, 2 walks, and struck out 1. Has currently allowed 4 runs, but the runners on 2nd and 3rd are his responsibility. Looney's 2-2. Big breaker, nails the outside portion of the plate for strike 3. Michael Richardson will sit down for out number 1 of the inning. Always love to see that big bender nail the outside corner of the plate. It's really a specialty if you're a pitcher and you can perfect a pitch like that.
Yeah, it's almost unhittable, especially when you throw it in a 2-2 count, especially if it starts high and breaks right into the top of the strike zone. The batter doesn't think that it's going to have any chance to get into the strike zone, but if it does, you completely fool him. And if he even sees it coming in as a strike, it's most likely going to be too late to be able to put a good swing on it.
Traven Funderburger had a single in his last at-bat, steps in the right side. Big swing, actually tipped it into the glove of the catcher, Shoop. So an 0-1 count with 1 down. And we mentioned Joe Rock with a bit of an advantage, being a southpaw against a righty-heavy lineup. Same thing right now for Looney, as Ohio brings a lot of righties into their lineup. And currently it's worked, as 1 batter, 1 out so far is 0-1. That bender, that one drops inside against Funderburg, 0-2. Funderburg, with actually that single last inning, extended his hit streak out to 5 games now. As that average will keep grinding for Traven Funderburg. As Looney comes set from the waist. Deep breath, his pitch. This one misses well outside. Bit of a waste pitch to move the count to 1-2. And I tell you what, for Traven Funderburg, as he has runners on 2nd and 3rd in front of him with just 1 out. Only 1 hit in the month of February, but batted .270 in the month of March, and he has continued now that campaign into the month of April, already 1 for 1, trying to make it 2 for 2, and especially in a big way with runners in scoring position. Looney, his 1-2. That bender, he tried to hit the outside of the zone, but this time it misses just outside. Looked like he wanted that strike 3 called yet again. Ohio 4, Morehead State 0, as the shadows increasing just a little more here at Wren Stadium. As Traven Funderburg is tied up in the count, 2-2 with 1 down. Looney's pitch. Burke held down on it. This one a soft pop fly into right field, and it is actually dropped by Lane. So coming into scorer's road, Hafner got a late jump over to 3rd, but managed to get there in time. So Funderburg does get an RBI, but I believe that one is going to be an error, and it is down. So an E9 helps the Bobcats bring in their 5th run of the game. As we'll actually see McGuire head out there. Saw some words for the second base official. And I tell you what, you'll take runs any way you can, and that's why you put the ball in play.
Yeah, putting the ball in play makes the defense make a play, and that's what Morehead State couldn't quite do there. It looked like the umpire called it on the transfer for the out. So the Funderburg is out with the sac fly, and now they're debating if Hafner left second base early to advance to 3rd on the sacrifice fly. Rudy Road is 100% safe, so that's the most important thing here for the Bobcats, is that they put another run on the board. Extend their lead to 5-0, so it's going to take more than 1 swing of the bat to tie this game up, as the umpires meet just to the left of the pitching mound.
And it was interesting because Lane, it looked like he almost had it, but he didn't, so I could see the argument both sides, as the officials will say Hafner will be safe, as he did time his jump just in time. But sacrificed fly is called, as we now sit with 2 down in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Ohio leading now 5-0, as Cole Revels, who grounded into an RBI double play, he came up with the bases loaded, nobody out last inning. This time we'll have a runner on 3rd with 2 outs. David Looney trying to go 3 up, 3 down against the men he's faced so far, as Revels swings and misses through that first pitch. That 5th run will still be attached to Garber. As Looney right now doing really all he can as your relief man. You come in a situation tough like that. He's got two men up and 2 men down. As this 0-1 hits the inside part of the zone with the breaker.
That's the most important thing, Brad. At this point, if you come with runners on 2nd and 3rd, and the fact that you get 2 outs in the first 2 batters, that's most important. In a way, you can kind of be like, oh, okay, 1 run scored. That's not as bad, especially since we have 2 outs and we still have a lot of innings to play.
Looney, his 0-2, just misses low and away as Cole Revels holds off. So Revels with that RBI in the last inning now brings his tally up to 5 on the year. In Ohio with 5 runs scored today, they've now eclipsed the 100-run mark, now up to 101 team runs on the season. So Looney comes set as 1-2. Revels lines one just over the head of second baseman Peroni into center field. Coming in to score is Hafner, and the Bobcats keep the offense rolling as they now lead 6-0 in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Revels now 7 RBIs on the year. In Ohio, if they can keep an offense up like this, moving into conference play, not necessarily scoring 6 this game and then in the double digits as they showed against Bowling Green, this could start to develop into a dangerous team, especially if you can get the arms going.
Yeah, that's one thing that the Bobcats really haven't been horrible at is throwing strikes. It's just in the fact that they haven't been scoring runs. And if you can score 6 runs in a game, period, let alone be able to explode for 6 runs in under 2 innings, that shows that this offense is explosive once they get things going.
So Nathan Mallett, the catcher, he'll look at a strike as he actually walked in his last plate appearance. He ended up coming around to score last inning as well. So Looney will have a man on first in Cole Revels as he tries to bring that breaker in, misses just outside, 0-1. So it is now official. Garber's stat line is over as he has allowed 6 runs, all 6 of which were earned. So to recap that, 2 innings pitched, 6 hits, 6 runs, all earned, 2 walks and 1 strikeout, as the man on first is David Looney's responsibility as he misses high with a breaker, 2-1. 2 outs, bottom of the 3rd inning in Athens. Bobcats leading the Eagles 6-0. In Eagles, this is the pitching staff, an average ERA of 3.87. So right now, Ohio just finding a way against these Morehead State pitchers. As this is a liner into center field by Mallett. On the run back, making the catch is Pauly, and that'll end the 3rd inning. But not before the Bobcats strike with a couple of runs by themselves off 3 hits. It's a 6-0 ball game. As we head into the middle innings, I'll throw it over to my partner, Luke Steiner.
Two, three, four, due up for the Morehead State Eagles here in the top of the 4th inning. The Bobcats lead by a score of 6-0 here in the top of the 4th. They scored 4 in the bottom of the 2nd, 2 in the bottom of the 3rd, forcing a pitching change for the Eagles. No pitching change for the Bobcats as Joe Rock still on the mound for the Bobcats. He'll face off against Hunter Fain, Connor Pauly, and Trevor Snyder due up for the Eagles as the meat of the order comes up. Rock was able to retire them the first time as they came through as he makes his way the second time through the order. First pitch to Fain, misses outside from Rock as the count is now in Fain's favor, 1-0. Hunter Fain, the designated hitter for the Eagles today, wearing number 34, stands in the right-handed batter's box. Swings and fouls off the 1-0 over towards the first base dugout. Moves the count even at 1-1 strike. Brad, something a little bit interesting here at Wren Stadium. No fences in front of the dugout, so a ball can go right into the dugout if it's fouled off, and that's something that you have to be wary of if you're in the dugout.
It's definitely an old school look. You see a lot of older ballparks have that.
As the 1-1 misses outside, count is now 2-1 strike.
And you see more of the newer stadiums, or even if the stadiums don't have it, but they put in those fences for safety. So just a little thing that makes Athens so special as it already is.
As the 2-1 delivery will be coming from Rock as he lifts the leg and fires. Misses up and out to Hunter Fain. Now 3-1 strike completely in Fain's favor, and this is the last guy you really wanted a hitter's count. 5 home runs on the year. Came in hitting a clip of .418, leading the team and leading the OVC conference, the Ohio Valley, that the Morehead State Eagles play in. 3-1 pitch. Fastball swung on, hit in the air by Fain over towards the right fielder who makes the play. That is Revels out there as he had to fight the sun, stared right into it, and he is able to make the grab for out number 1.
I'll tell you what, the best hitters, they really know how to be patient, are the most patient hitters, I should say, as well. Fain did a nice job there, got a pitch he liked, but unfortunately with the way that wind's kind of died down, really didn't help in his favor as he launched one out to right.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time before Fain is able to put one and play hard like he did there, especially once he's hitting so well this season. That flyout brings up Connor Pauly, who first pitch he sees bounces over to the shortstop Funderburg, who makes a running play, cannot make it in time though, as he is safe at first. Pauly with the infield single, as Traven Funderburg was playing back in his position, kind of hoping that the turf would help the ball carry towards him, but a little slow dribbler off the corner, the end of the bat of Pauly, is able to get him in there for an infield single.
And with that turf, Funderburg know he can be a little more aggressive with that because of the true hops, but just Pauly speed a little too quick there. Still good play from the shortstop.
Brings up Trevor Snyder, the first baseman. Stands in with the runner on first. First pitch he sees, fouls off straight back. It could be playable by the first baseman or Nathan Malott. Rudy Road makes the play as he fights the sun in foul territory for the second out of the inning. One pitch, out number 2 for Trevor Snyder, and that'll bring up Stephen Hill for the Morehead State Eagles, who walked his first time up, the third baseman, wearing number 12. The righty will face off against Joe Rock for the second time of the night.
And that hit from Pauly just a few batters ago did end Joe Rock's no-hit bid super early. Didn't want to say anything. But unfortunately for Joe Rock, no-hitter tonight.
He's not a stranger to those, though, Brad. He threw a couple of them in his career as a senior in high school at Aliquippa in Pennsylvania. First pitch he threw to Stephen Hill, missed a little bit low on the inside corner. Count 1-0. Rock set on the mound, the 1-0 delivery. Does not miss. Hill thought it did miss, but it tabs the outside corner up for a strike. Count evens up at 1-1 strike.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a questionable call, but it seems like our home plate umpire today has kind of widened the strike zone for both sides, really, and it's been consistent.
That's the most important thing, is if the zone is consistent, you're able to fight against it. The 1-1 swung on and bounced in between the hole of the shortstop and the third baseman. That's going to be a single for Stephen Hill. Runners just go station to station as it's now runners on first and second for Jake Hammond, who comes up to bat for the Eagles.
And it seems like with Morehead State, now that they're coming through the lineup a second time, they're starting to figure out Joe Rock, what his tendencies are. Obviously, they're talking to each other as they go off the field, so maybe they're noticing some of the things he likes to do, and they've got a couple of hits going.
The lefty, Jake Hammond, will stand into the batter's box for the Eagles, playing left field tonight. The senior stands in, puts the bat forward a couple of times before Joe Rock comes set on the mound and now brings it to his shoulder. The first pitch to him on the way. Breaking ball misses outside. Looks like Hammond was able to check his swing in time do not go around for a strike. Count is now 1-0.
Really good block as a catcher. Used to play catcher back in the Little League days, back when I thought I was a promising athlete. You're always told to keep it in front of you, and coaches say they'll rarely send a guy when the ball's in front of you.
The 1-0 delivery will be coming from Joe Rock. Outfield playing a couple steps deeper, especially in right field for the lefty Jake Hammond. 1-0 delivery. Looked like a two-seam fastball that broke over the plate for a strike. Count evens up at 1 ball and 1 strike now here with 2 outs in the top of the 4th inning. Bobcats lead by a score of 6-0. But the Morehead State Eagles threatening here in the top of the 4th with their first 2 hits of the game. Runners on first and second. 1-1. Good scoop by Malott behind the plate. Moves the count to 2-1 as he's able to keep that one in front of him. That was just kind of a hope that the glove touched it, and Malott got lucky on that pitch.
Super quick hands there by Malott. If he was doing one of those machines where you have to touch real quick, he'd have got a perfect score.
2-1 pitch on the way. Fastball swung on and bounced down the first base line. It's close to the line. Joe Rock fields it, but it looked like a miscommunication on who was covering first base, so an infield single for Morehead State loads the bases here in the top of the 4th.
Just a real awkward play for Ohio. That ball looked like it may have been able to go into foul territory, but I see where Joe Rock was coming from. He saw Rowe was ready to cover. Fortunately, it just didn't work out for him.
That's one of those things, Brad, that if it was a dirt baseline, more likely to go foul, but with this new turf baseline, more of a true bounce. So Joe Rock thought he should have fielded it instead of letting it try to go foul, and nobody was back there to cover first. A little bit of a miscommunication on the infield single. Brings up the second baseman, Dom Perrone, who stands in the right-handed batter's box. First pitch misses up and out from Joe Rock. Moves the count to 1-0 as the Morehead State bench in the dugout getting a little bit loud, getting into Joe Rock's head as he has struggled to a bases-loaded jam here with 2 outs in the top of the 4th. The 1-0 on the way. This big swing and a miss as Perrone cannot make contact with that pitch. Evens up the count at 1-1. Biggest thing here, Brad, is that the Bobcats, if it's a grounder, can go to any base in the infield to get the force out and the final out of the inning and try to keep their 6-0 lead intact. As here's the 1-1 on the way from Joe Rock. Lifts the leg, fires. Two-seam fastball right over the inside corner. Fooled Perrone. Now the count in Joe Rock's favor. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Rock's been doing a great job tonight with that two-seamer, placing it in the same spot. For right-handers, it'll be just inside, but for those lefties, it's just outside enough that they don't really want to swing. Real tough pitch.
Rock takes his time, gets the sign, comes set. Shadows here at Bob Wren Stadium. The 1-2. Fastball swung and bounce over to shortstop Thunderbird. He's going to go to first across the diamond in time to retire Dom Perrone on the 6-3 putout. The Morehead State Eagles threaten in the top of the 4th inning with bases loaded, but Joe Rock gets a grounder to shortstop to be able to finish this inning off. The Bobcats will come up in the bottom of the 4th, still leading 6-0. This is Bobcats Baseball on Ohio Bobcats TV. The Bobcats bring up 9-1-2 coming in the bottom of the 4th inning. This is the part of the lineup that did most of the damage back in the bottom of the 2nd inning when the Bobcats put up 4 runs. Jack Longo due up for the Bobcats as a designated hitter stands in the right-handed batter's box, plays outfield when he's in the game in the field. David Looney stays out there for the Eagles as the first pitch he throws tabs the outside corner for a strike as Longo thought it was a little bit too low on the outside corner. Count is now 0-1. Interesting to see that David Looney works solely from the stretch as here's the 0-1. Once again, right over that outside corner with the fastball, a little bit of a movement. Count is now 0-2.
Predominantly a relief guy. And you see a lot of relief guys, they just like to work from the stretch because normally when they come in, they're in situations where they have to work from the stretch.
The 0-2. Breaking ball, big bender is fouled off by Longo as he tabs that one off the top of the netting behind home plate. Stays alive against Looney. First time that he does face off against Looney. He did walk the one time he was up previously against Alex Garber. 6-0 lead for the Ohio Bobcats here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Looney comes set with the shadows on the field. The 0-2 delivery on the way. Big bender that Longo cannot make contact with as he swings over the top for out number 1. Will bring up the top of the lineup for the Bobcats.
Looney, he's got that bender working today. It's really a nice pitch. If he can combat that with a fastball that he can control very securely, that's really all you need as a relief pitcher. Just 2 pitches, know when to use them effectively, and you'll mow down some guys for at least an inning or 2.
Trevor Lucas stands into the batter's box now for the Bobcats. First pitch to him. Swung on and hit in the air. It's going to be down the left field line, but a little bit off the inside of the bat as the left fielder, Jake Hammond, makes his way over towards the corner to make the grab for out number 2.
Tell you what, that cold weather and wind just doesn't help things, especially in these early months of collegiate baseball when you try to hit those ones out into the bat. Maybe when it gets a little warmer, that one's out, but you nailed right on the head, partner. Inside of the bat, that just normally are not going out.
And it probably doesn't feel very good with a cold bat, cold hands as well. Batting gloves help a little bit, but not when it's this cold out, especially with the wind blowing a little bit as well, making it way over towards left field. Aaron Levy stands in the left-handed batter's box now for the Bobcats. Takes the first pitch as it bounces up to the plate for a ball. Count is 1-0. Levy, the MAC player of the week this week, stands in. Just gets out of the way of the fastball from Looney as it missed way inside. Count is now 2-0. Interesting to see that the Morehead State defense playing Levy to pull over towards the right field side with the shortstop Leonard almost directly behind second base. Bender on the 2-0 count from David Looney misses up. Now quickly in Aaron Levy's favor, 3-0. Levy, the sophomore, stands in. The 3-0. Fastball right over the outside corner for a strike from Looney. It looked like Aaron Levy was taking the whole time. Didn't even take a load step on that pitch. Count is now 3-1. Looney's going to work quickly from the stretch. 3-1 on the way. Fastball bounces and misses on the inside corner. It's going to be a 2-out walk for the Bobcats. And the most important thing for Ohio is that Rudy Rote stands into the batter's box now, and also the most dangerous thing in this lineup for the Bobcats is one swing of the bat could make this game an 8-run lead instead of a 6-run lead that it is right now.
And, you know, for Ohio, they don't care where the runner is as long as the runner is on for Rudy Rote. That is the biggest thing. He has that extra base hit power, but you know he can hit homers as well.
First pitch to him. Breaking ball swung on and going to be hit in the air down the left field line. Makes its way all the way to the warning track as it stayed in the air enough for Jake Hammond to make the grab for the final out of the inning. Looked like a miss hit from Rudy Rote, but made its way all the way to the warning track down the left field line. That'll be the third out of the inning. Morehead State will come up in the top of the fifth and try to score at least one run against Joe Rock as the Bobcats still lead by a score of 6-0 here on Ohio Bobcat TV. Ryan Lane strides into the left-handed batter's box for the Morehead State Eagles as they face off against Joe Rock once again in the top of the 5th. Bobcats lead by a score of 6-0 as the Eagles held the Bobcats scoreless for the first time since the first inning back in the bottom of the 4th. Joe Rock fires to Lane, who swings and fouls that one off down the left field line out of play. Count quickly in Joe Rock's favor, 0-1.
Rock, he's just done a really nice job tonight of always just trying to get early in counts. And when you're a young, struggling pitcher, that's really all you can control is just try to throw more strikes than balls. But that's almost every pitcher's mantra.
The 0-1 missed way outside as it was an easy take for Ryan Lane. Count evens up at 1 ball and 1 strike. Lane grounded out to the first baseman, Rudy Road, his first time up back in the 3rd inning. Comes up here in the top of the 5th. 1-1 pitch on the way. Swung on and bounced again down the first base line. It's going to be playable by the second baseman. Hafner tosses over to first. Not in time as Ryan Lane is able to beat it out for the infield single. Brad, we talked earlier about how the turf plays a little bit faster than normal dirt, but it doesn't look like it's mattered the last 2 ground balls for the Morehead State Eagles as they've been able to beat them out for infield singles.
Yeah, multiple infield singles tonight for Morehead State. They're just placing these little infield hits right where they want to. I don't know if it's intentionally, most likely not, but to get on, get a little bit of something going, you're in these middle innings, that's where you need to start your comeback and start cutting the lead down.
Brody Shoup now stands in the box for the Eagles. The right-handed side takes a pitch on the inside corner. Just misses a little bit inside from Rock as the count is now 1-0. Shoup up for the first time for the Eagles with runners on, with that runner on first, 1-0. Fastball misses up near the neck part of Brody Shoup for a ball as the count now quickly in his favor, 2 balls and no strikes. Here in the top of the 5th inning, Bobcats lead by a score of 6-0, but the Eagles look to put something on that board here in the top of the 5th as they have the 9th batter in the order, Shoup, up with the leadoff batter on deck. Looks like Nathan Mallett calls time from behind the plate. Not sure exactly why. Maybe a miscommunication on what pitch they wanted. But the 2-0 pitch now on the way. Fastball swung on and put in the air. It's going to be into center field as the center fielder Richardson takes a couple steps back from his original position to make the grab for out number 1.
Real routine play for Richardson there. Just a few steps back. Did a nice job. Rock, we noticed last inning is a little bit of adversity, it seemed like, when there are some runners on. So interesting to see how he deals with it this inning, letting the leadoff man on.
Rock will now face off against the top of the lineup for Morehead. It's Leonard now in the right-handed batter's box. The shortstop for the Eagles bends the knees and looks to face off against Rock. First pitch from Joe misses a little bit high above the numbers on the yellow jerseys for Morehead State as the count in Leonard's favor, 1-0. The 1-0 delivery will be coming from Rock after he looks at the first base side. Swung on and bounced over to the second baseman who cannot make the play. Gets under the glove of Hafner. That'll be into right center field. It'll advance the runner from first to third. Hafner could not make the play on the air.
Hafner just didn't have the glove down. That's it. Simple enough. Was ready to play a little bit of a hop, but it didn't come right there. Just went right between the legs. Real unfortunate for Joe Rock.
What you call a proven double play ball. That Rock pitch there, but it's now runners on first and third instead of out of the inning for Joe Rock, and now up Hunter Fain for the Morehead State Eagles. The best hitter in this lineup, the designated hitter, bats second. He's 0 for 1 on the day, but has reached once on a hit by pitch. Stands in, hitting .418 this year, the senior. 6'3", 215 from Mount Clair, West Virginia. First pitch from Rock this time on the way. Looked like a changeup that tabs the outside corner for a strike. Count is now 0-1 as Joe Rock's been able to mix up his pitches very well in the second and third times through the order. Now making his third way through the order. Faces off against Fain for the third time. The 0-1. Swung on and fouled off of Fain while he's still in the batter's box, so it's just a foul ball. Count is now quickly in Rock's favor, 0-2 with runners on first and third. Here in the top of the 5th inning, Bobcats lead 6-0. Here with an 0-2 count.
Ohio has double barrel working in the bullpen, so Joe Rock knows 6-run lead. Maybe if he gives up a run here, no biggie, so why not trust out a few different pitchers, especially when he's ahead in the count.
The 0-2. Fastball misses a little bit above the numbers as Joe Rock thought he might have got the pitch. It's not called a strike by the home plate umpire as the count now 1-2. One out here in the top of the 5th inning. The Eagles come in tied for 5th place in the OVC as the Bobcats are tied for 5th place as well in the Mid-American Conference. The 1-2 tabs the inside corner for a strike. Hunter Fain decides to argue. He thought that the pitch hit him on the back leg, but it does not matter because the umpire argues, saying that it's a strike no matter what. Now the third base coach McGuire comes in and talks to the home plate umpire. Brad, this brings up kind of an interesting conversation. The new rule in the NCAA is that the batter has to make a deliberate movement to get out of the way of the pitch, as it looked like Fain just kind of turned the back to see if he could get hit by it. It is going to be strike 3 called as the argument is now finished between Mike McGuire and the home plate umpire. And Brad, like I said, brings up the interesting argument that did it actually hit him or did it hit him and he didn't make it good enough deliberation to try and get out of the way of it? It's interesting kind of comment to see what you think.
You know, it really is. And the way Fain stands in the box, he's riding the inside of that batter's box. So when something comes inside, the question is, does he have enough time to make that deliberate movement, or is it coming in so fast that his only movement is that little twerk behind? So right there, the call is a strikeout. Maybe some other umpires see it as a hit by pitch. I think that's something that's going to defer between umps.
The 0-1 is going to, the no count pitch to Connor Pauly is a strike on the inside corner as the count is now 0-1. The 0-1 on the way from Rock. Fastball missed outside as the count evens up at 1 ball, 1 strike here with 2 outs in the top of the 5th inning. Bobcats lead by a score of 6-0. As the meat of the lineup do up runners on 1st and 3rd for Morehead, but still 2 outs here in this inning. Pitch on the way from Rock. Bounce. It tips off the edge of his glove. Thunderbird is going to have to make a running play across the diamond. It will not be in time as Rudy Rote couldn't come up with it. It's now back over towards 3rd, and the runner is out as 3rd as Rudy Rote was able to throw out the runner from 2nd as he tried to advance from 3rd. Now another argument coming from Mike McGuire as he thought he was safe at 3rd. Nevertheless, the umpire cannot change the call as he thought he was out. He's going to be out. That's the 3rd out of the inning as the Morehead State Eagles go down, not without a couple of arguments from Coach Mike McGuire, as we'll go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Morehead State does score that run from 3rd, as the score is now 6-1 going into the bottom of the 5th. This is Ohio Baseball on Ohio Bobcats TV. An interesting top of the 5th inning brings up Trevor Hafner in the bottom of the 5th for the Ohio Bobcats. And, Brad, there's a lot of things that happened in that inning, and there's a lot of things that probably could have been called differently as well.
Yeah, it seems like the Bobcats may have gotten a few calls going their way. More specifically, that 3rd out from our vantage point looked like he was safe, but that 3rd base umpire, he's a lot closer than we are.
Trevor Hafner fouls off the first pitch he sees from Looney in the bottom of the 5th inning, down the 3rd base line for a strike. Count is 0-1. And don't forget about the hit by pitch on hit by pitch that Hunter Fain thought was a hit by pitch. It turned out it's going to be a strikeout looking. A lot of things happened in that top of the 5th inning, as the Morehead State Eagles hope it's a less eventful bottom of the 5th, as they hope to go 1-2-3 through the Bobcats lineup. The 0-1 missed high from Looney for a ball, as now the 1-1 comes from the left-handed pitcher. It's fouled off down the right field line. We'll see if it stays playable. It looks like it will not. Bounces near the bullpen of the Morehead State Eagles, as nobody could get over towards the fence and even attempt to make a play. Count quickly in Looney's favor, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
But going back to last inning and what could have happened for Morehead State getting a rally, that's why it is so important to get that early offense going. I mean, Ohio, they had a 6-run lead, so they had a few runs to play with.
Hafner skies one back behind the shortstop position as Leonard makes his way into the outfield grass to make the catch for out number 1. Brings up Michael Richardson for the Bobcats. The Bobcats lead by a score of 6-1 now after the Eagles scored 1 run in the top of the 5th. Bobcats scored 4 runs in the bottom of the 2nd and 2 runs in the bottom of the 3rd, all of them earned to Alex Garber, the starter for the Eagles, as Looney came in that 3rd inning and was able to retire the first 3 batters he could see. Richardson takes the big bender from Looney outside for a strike as it hits the outside corner. Count quickly 0-1. As Looney comes set, the 0-1 delivery to Richardson is on the way. Missed a little bit low as the Morehead State team thought that one once again was a strike, as you could hear a little bit of frustration coming from the dugout/crowd. Count evens up at 1-1. Looney lifts the leg and fires. Swung on and hit in the air by Richardson into left center field. It'll be playable by one of the outfielders, as the left fielder is able to make the play, as he calls it. It's Jake Hammond makes the grab for out number 2.
And Looney getting a lot of these Ohio hitters to fly out. And percentages-wise, that is definitely the most likely for an out. So Ohio really liking these breaking balls, seeing it, but unfortunately just can't get that right swing on it. So a lot of pops outs by Looney forced by these Ohio hitters.
The second out brings up Traven Funderburg for the Bobcats, who stands in with 2 outs. He swings through a fastball, a little bit of a weak swing, as he knew he was late on it and kind of frustrated after that swing. Count is 0-1. Shadows now completely over the infield. Just the only part in the sun is the left and center field part of the ballpark. 0-1 bounce over to the third baseman, who makes the play over to first in time as Snyder makes the grab on the first base bag. The Bobcats go down in order 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 5th inning. They still lead by a score of 6-1 going into the top of the 6th. This is Ohio Baseball on Ohio Bobcat TV. Joe Rock's day is going to be finished. He will not come out to pitch in the top of the 6th inning. He goes 5 innings, gives up 5 hits, 1 run. That 1 run was unearned last inning because of the error that Trevor Hafner committed over at second base. He walked 1 and did strike out 2. He is in line for the win as the Bobcats lead by a score of 6-1. The call to the bullpen is Nick Camrata. The redshirt senior right-handed pitcher from Grand Ledge, Michigan, comes in and makes his 14th appearance has a 4.97 ERA, pitched 12.2 innings so far this year. He's also struck out 7 and walked 6. As you look at the call to the bullpen, Brad, at this point you really just want to get outs and just keep this 5-run lead. If you give up 1 run, that's not really that big of a deal.
Yeah, you're not looking for anything too fancy, and you're also not looking for anything that Morehead State can gain a little bit of momentum on. So if you let a runner on here or there, and then they happen to squeeze in a run through sacrificing or something like that, but you don't want to see consistent hit after hit after hit come apart, and that's what Ohio is going to try to do with their relievers.
4, 5, 6 due up in the batting order for the Morehead State team. It's Trevor Snyder in the right-handed batter's box. First time facing off against a right-handed pitcher today. Fouls off the first pitch he sees. Back behind the first base dugout for a strike. Count 0-1. A little bit of a different thing here for the Bobcats out of the bullpen. Go from left-handed pitcher to right-handed pitcher. Maybe a little bit of an adjustment period for the Eagles offense. The 0-1 on the way. Swing and a miss as Trevor Snyder cannot make contact with the 0-1 fastball over the outside part of the plate. Moves the count to 0-2.
Mentioned batting gloves might help out on these cool nights. Well, apparently Trevor Snyder's right hand feeling a little warmer than his left. Just the one-handed batting glove look.
The 0-2 delivery from Camrata as he works out of the stretch with nobody on. Missed outside for a ball as Snyder easily took that pitch for a ball. Count is 1-2. Snyder was 0 for 2 against Joe Rock as he grounded out to the shortstop the first time up and popped out to the first baseman in foul territory the second time up. The 1-2 from Camrata on the way. Fastball right over the outside corner gets Trevor Snyder looking for the first out of the inning and the first strikeout of the night for Nick Camrata.
That was a real nice pitch after wasting one well outside in the other batter's box. Comes back, another fastball outside, but this time paints the edge.
Stephen Hill now strides into the box for the Eagles. Third baseman reached base the 2 times he was up against Joe Rock, walked and singled. So he's 1 for 1 on the day. As the first pitch from Camrata to Hill on the way. Swung on and bounced over to the second baseman, who Hafner makes the play quickly over to first in time. Didn't want to waste any time and make up something happen on the grounder. So now 2 outs here in the top of the 6th inning. Bobcats lead by a score of 6-1. As Camrata makes his way through the first 2 batters, he brings up Jake Hammond, the left fielder, who is 1 for 2 on the day with a single. First left-handed batter that Nick Camrata will see in the batting order for the Morehead State team. First pitch is right over the inside corner, maybe a little bit low as Nathan Mallett can't grab that one into the glove as it bounces to the backstop. Count is 1-0. As number 6, Jake Hammond, 6 foot, stands in. 1-0. Fastball swung on and put in the field. It's going to be into the left center field gap as Trevor Lucas comes up with it and throws it into second quickly to make sure it holds Jake Hammond to just a single. With 2 outs here in the top of the 6th.
Good defensive play by Lucas out in left field, quickly getting it in. And I mentioned his damage control. That is one of those things that could possibly help out Ohio right there. Instead of possible double, you just settle for the single, and then man on first, 2 out. That is nothing to sweat with a 5-run lead.
Dom Peroni now stands in for Morehead State. The junior infielder playing second base today from Uniontown, Pennsylvania. Stands in the box for the Eagles. Going with the no batting glove look. Holding the bat. First pitch he sees is a fastball right over the outside corner for a strike. Count quickly 0-1.
You know, this is a good hitting team, Luke, so batting gloves or not, whatever gets their bat on the ball and away from the defenseman of the opposing team, they're going to keep rolling with it.
The 0-1 from Camrata. Good scoop from Mallett behind the home plate as he comes up quickly and almost fires to first base. Trying to make sure that Jake Hammond doesn't get too far off the bag. Count evens up at 1-1 here in the top of the 6th. Camrata comes set. The 1-1 delivery not going to come as he picks over to first base. Rudy Rote able to make the jumping grab to make sure the ball didn't get away from him. Jake Hammond's back safely into first. So count remains 1-1 after the pickoff. Really only the first pickoff we've seen since when Alex Garber had about 7 pickoff moves to try and get Trevor Hafner at first back in the second inning. 1-1 fouled off from Dom Peroni into the net behind home plate. Now makes it count 1 ball and 2 strikes in Camrada's favor. Camrada last year pitched in 26 games for the Bobcats out of the bullpen. Struck out 13 in those 26, had a 2.7 ERA. It's going to be a balk on Nick Camrada. He picked over to first. If I had to guess, I was looking down at my book to make sure I couldn't see, so I didn't see exactly what happened. If I had to guess, he didn't come completely set before he picked over to first, but that doesn't matter because you can pick even before you come set. Maybe lift up his back foot before he picked over to first, jumping to look over to first, but nevertheless, the runner advances from first to second. Now runner in scoring position for Morehead State.
It appeared that Camrada did kind of lift that back heel just a bit, and he almost did the first time he threw over as well.
1-2 looked like a little bit of a cutter or a slider from Camrada. Missed a little bit outside as Peroni just barely held his swing back. Counting now 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 outs here in the top of the 6th inning. Bobcats lead by 5. Morehead State does have that runner in scoring position on second base. The 2-2 delivery as Camrada will lift the front leg and fire. Fastball swung and a bounce. Great play by Rudy Rodas. He makes a little bit of a short hop grab and tabs first base for the 3rd out of the inning. A little bit of a web gem from Rudy Rote for out number 3 as we'll go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Bobcats still lead by a score of 6-1 here on Ohio Bobcat TV. David Looney still out there for the Morehead State Eagles as he'll make his 4th inning of appearance here for relief of the starter Alex Garber for Morehead State. 7, 8, 9 due up in the batting order for the Ohio Bobcats here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Still lead by a score of 6-1. They scored those 6 runs, 4 in the 2nd and 2 in the 3rd. Morehead State scored that 1 run back in the 5th. First pitch from Looney to Revels missed outside. Revels was able to hold his swing back to make sure he didn't go around. Count is 1-0.
Morehead State finally having a man up in the pen. Looks like a right-hander getting ready and getting loose.
Big bender from Looney. Tabs the outside corner for a strike. Evens it up at 1-1. Like you said, Brad, that pitcher warming up in the Morehead State bullpen. Also looks like there's a pitcher, warming up in the Bobcats bullpen. 1-1 again. That curveball from Looney hits the outside corner for a strike. Count now 1 ball and 2 strikes in Looney's favor. Here with nobody on in the bottom of the 6th. Revels has grounded into a double play and singled his 2 times up. Fouls off the 1-2 fastball over towards the first base side off the top of the net, as he'll stay alive with the 1-2 count. Revels takes his time, steps in with the right foot first into the right-handed batter's box. 1-2. Swung on and fouled, but directly into the glove of Shoup as he's able to grab it for out number 1 on the strikeout of Cole Revels.
Exactly. Nice work there by Looney. He's doing a good job of now mixing up that big bender and also striking out hitters now with his fastball as well. That big bender is now his setup pitch. Normally you see a fastball be his setup, but not for Looney. He likes the breaking ball.
Nathan Malott now stands in. First pitch he sees, bounces hard over to the shortstop Leonard, who takes a couple of steps, fires across the diamond for out number 2. One pitch, out number 2. And next up will be Jack Longo, the designated hitter for the Bobcats. And if you've been around this Bobcats baseball program for a little bit, the last name Longo sounds familiar, and for good reason. Mitch Longo, the older brother of Jack Longo, played here for 3 years before getting drafted into the Cleveland Indians system. He was in Double-A last year. It'll be interesting to see what he does this year. Bounced right up the middle by Jack, but it's going to be a tough play for the second baseman as he is just able to throw it over to first, and Shoop is able to back it up, back behind the first base bag as the throw got away from the first baseman. Looked like a single all the way for Jack Longo. Not quite sure by the second baseman, Peroni. Tried to attempt to make that play. It's going to be an infield single.
David Looney made a risky move. He actually reached for that ball as it was hitting the mound with his left hand. So his exposed hand, if he would have got a hand on that, I think his hand would still be ringing if he did. But great effort there by Leonard, one of the best shortstops, definitely in the OVC, if not the country. Throw just a little high, hard to throw across your body.
Top of the lineup now for the Bobcats. Trevor Lucas stands in. Big bender from Looney. Can't hit the strike zone this time. Count is now 1-0 with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Bobcats still with that 5-run lead. Jack Longo gets his lead from the first base bag as Looney looks over towards first base. The 1-0. Breaking ball is swung on and fouled off the plate and goes foul back behind the catcher. Count is now 1 ball and 1 strike. Good thing to look for here for Looney is to see how he changes up his timing, both for the Morehead State defense and both for the Bobcats offense, to see if Jack Longo can get a good jump. He changes it up, goes quickly. Pitch misses low on the inside corner as the count is now 2 balls and 1 strike. Aaron Levy on deck for the Bobcats as Lucas stands in 1 for 3 on the day, has an RBI double back in the bottom of the 2nd when the Bobcats scored 4 runs. 2-1 pitch. Longo is going. It's a breaking ball. He went around as the throw is down. Jack Longo is out anyway. Trevor Lucas will get one more try in the bottom of the 7th inning as Jack Longo is caught stealing for out number 3 in the bottom of the 6th. We'll go to the top of the 7th. Brad Walker back in the play-by-play seat for the last 3 innings of play as the Bobcats still lead by a score of 6-1. As we go to the top of the 7th on Ohio Bobcat TV.
Time for the 7th inning, and Ohio is leading Morehead State 6-1 as we enter the top half of the 7th inning, and actually a pitching change. So a quick night of work for Nick Camrata, the redshirt senior. Goes an inning of work, does not allow any runs on one hit, did walk one. However, rather scratch that, struck out one, not walk any. But the new Bobcat on the mound is Nick Byers, the junior lefty from Cincinnati, Ohio. So the second left-handed pitcher that Ohio will throw in today's rotation. He's given up 4 runs all earned in his 8 2/3 innings of work. This will be his 11th appearance on the season. He'll be facing the 8-9-1 batters for Morehead State. And we'll actually see a pinch hitter. Junior Arthur Sells will step to the dish for the first time tonight in place of Ryan Lane, who's actually 1 for 2 tonight. But Sells is at the dish, and he is swinging at the first pitch. Bounces right into the Bobcat dugout on the left side. So it'll be 0-1. So Sells from West Des Moines, Iowa. And actually this past Sunday went 0 for 3 with a strikeout. And has only had 1 hit in his last 8 at-bats. So coming set is Byers from the stretch. His 0-1. This one a soft tapper actually off of the left foot of Sells. And that one has to hurt sitting in that chilly dugout all game long. Finally get a chance to hit. And then you foul one off the left foot. That's going to probably sting for at least an inning.
That's going to sting for a while, and it'll probably stay there as a bruise for a couple of days, if not close to a week for Arthur Sells. It's definitely one of those things that you hate when it happens, but you are happy as well because it's a foul ball off of you, so you do get one more chance to face off against the pitcher.
But he is down in the count with nobody out in the top of the 7th inning. Sells the leadoff pinch hitter, batting .229 on the year. Byers, his 0-2, was high and outside. Did he go? He did. Arthur Sells is down on strikes for the first out of the 7th inning as Byers earns his first strikeout of the night. Nick Byers, that is now his 11th strikeout on the season, just opposed to 6 walks on the year. And now up to the plate is the man behind the dish today for the Eagles, Brody Shoup, 0 for 2 in both of his plate appearances tonight, as Morehead State slowly running out of time to possibly build a comeback against Ohio as they trail 6-1. Byers, his first pitch to Shoup, had him think about it. He did go around, couldn't quite stop the lumber from going through. Count moves to 0-1. So Nick Byers out of Cincinnati, Ohio, went to high school at Moeller, comes from a very athletic family, as his brother Scott spent 2 years in the Blue Jays organization, as this one is tapped just in front of home plate. The throw to first by Muller just in time for out number 2. So a nice play by Malott.
He did a great job of making sure that he got around the ball so it was bounced down the third base line. What I mean by that is he did a great job of moving towards closer to the line than where the ball is. So he came up, picked up the ball, and worked through it to able to make sure he got the power behind the throw to get it over to first in time instead of picking it up, spinning, and throwing to first.
So as Leonard steps in with 2 down, going back to Byers, his brother Scott, 2 years in the Blue Jays organization, as he misses high and away with a breaking ball. And then actually his sister Robin played volleyball at Ohio's arch rival Miami, and then his other sister Kelly played volleyball at Findlay. So I can't imagine the competition going in their living room going up. Had to have been nuts, especially with all that athletic ability. Probably would have been fun to watch as well as he nails the lower part of the plate with a breaking ball. 1-1 the count with 2 down. Luke, pretty remarkable to have 3 siblings that were all collegiate athletes, one of them professional athlete.
Yeah, if you can have all 3 of your siblings go to college, let alone one get paid to do what he likes to do, and most of them, Findlay at the D3 level, but Miami here at the Division I level in the Mid-American Conference, as well as Nick playing here at Ohio, it's impressive alone because to have that many people in your family to be that athletic to no matter what, it's amazing to see someone's family be able to do that.
As Leonard fouls it off 1-2, 2 down. Trying to get a perfect inning. Leonard bounces this one over to the left into the Bobcats dugout. Is grabbed by one of the Bobcats sitting in the dugout. As Byers trying to work a perfect inning in this top half of the 7th inning. Sun pretty much about setting as the lights are helping to keep this thing lit. All the field is dark as Byers comes set from the waist. His 1-2. Misses low and inside. Nice block by Mallet. as Leonard is now all tied up in the count 2-2. As he's 0 for 3 tonight, but reached in his last at-bat in the 5th inning thanks to an error by Hafner at second base. So the right-handed hitting shortstop trying to start any kind of rally for the Eagles. Byron, his pitch. This one will actually hit Reed Leonard, and no question about that one, as it is a hit by pitch, and he'll be on first base. We saw earlier in the game a little bit of a dilemma with Hunter Fain, who's actually now at the dish, got caught looking even though he did get hit. But I guess Leonard did make a deliberate attempt to get out of the way of that one.
Yeah, it's one of those rules that you see. It's tough to see as a fan, let alone an umpire. And then the fact that this time they do call it a hit by pitch instead of a strikeout, maybe because it was a pitch lower than the strike zone. It did hit around the foot ankle area of Leonard. Not quite sure what the whole decision there is by the home plate umpire, but it looks like we're going to have a pitching change or maybe just a pitching meeting for the Bobcats.
So as they head to the mound, there is 2 outs. Currently we're in the top of the 7th inning. Reed Leonard would hit by a pitch, and that is going to bring up the designated hitter Hunter Fain. And before we realize, I think we are going to get a pitching change, Luke, and we are. So we'll introduce the new pitcher when we come back. Ohio leading Morehead State 6-1, top of the 7th inning. 2 outs. We'll be right back on Ohio Bobcats TV. Ohio a 6-1 lead, top of the 7th inning. 2 outs. Morehead State does have a man on first, but the Bobcats have brought in a new pitcher, sophomore right-hander Chance Harris. But before we get the chance to talk about Chance, we'll discuss Nick Byron's day. 2/3 innings pitched to not allow a hit, no walks, and a strikeout. Did hit a man in Reed Leonard, and that's who stands on first. So he is responsible for that run if it so happens to come across. So his line is not officially tallied, but Chance Harris, the sophomore right-hander out of New Marshfield, Ohio, actually went to Alexander High School, which is right down the road of Ohio University. And in 9 1/3 innings pitched, he's appeared in 10 games, has allowed 10 runs, all of which are earned, has 10 strikeouts on the season, walked 9, and allowed 15 hits. And he is coming in to face a tough assignment. Hunter Fain, designated hitter, mentioned 0 for 2 tonight. Did reach on a hit by a pitch back in the 1st inning. But this guy, 418 average coming into the game, 580 on base percentage. Harris will definitely have his hands full with 2 down. He'll work from the stretch, chest high. His first pitch to Fain, a chopper actually to the mound. Well, it actually hit off Fain's front foot. So that's now the second Eagle tonight that's actually fouled a pitch off their front foot. Count goes to 0-1.
Yeah, Harris with a tough assignment here against Hunter Fain. It's just one of those guys, doesn't matter if he hasn't had a hit in the last 30 at-bats or if he's had a hit in the last 30 at-bats, it doesn't matter. Hunter Fain's one of those guys that you got to throw, and you have to throw to him like he's one of the most dangerous people in the lineup because he is the most dangerous hitter in the lineup for Morehead State. So you can't really give him anything good to hit. Make him beat you. Don't beat yourself.
0-1 from Harris. This one, nice scoop by Mullers. Throw down to first is not in time. Actually bounced once before it got to Rudy Rote's mitts. That could have been the reason that Leonard got back in time. But I'm glad you brought up Fain. His struggles and don't affect him. In his first 2 years at Morehead State, batted .320, then .271, and then last season batted .199, so a drop-off. But that did not affect him at all, as he has come back very exceptionally this well, batting .418 so far this season. So a guy that definitely knows how to bounce back as he chops this one foul over to the left side, just over to the left side of the foul line, so he stays alive at 1-2. But here is a senior that really knows what it takes to be patient, and also being patient. His walk rate's up more this season, so last season taught him to be more of a patient hitter. And right now he could be a key piece to helping start a bit of a rally. I mean, 2 outs, top of the 7th inning, you're down 6-1, but runner on first, your chances are going to become few and far between with less outs to go in this game. Harris, he'll come set. His 1-2 gets Fain swinging through the high cheese. That'll be the 3rd out in the top of the 7th inning, and it's time to get up and stretch as we enter the middle of the 7th inning with Ohio leading Morehead State 6-1. We're right back on Ohio Bobcat TV. Bottom of the 7th ensuing on us in Athens, Ohio, leading Morehead State 6-1. We just stretched. Are you stretched, partner, and ready for this final run in the game?
I think you have to be. The Bobcats 6-1 lead. They haven't scored since the 3rd inning, but when you look at who's on the mound, it's a pitching change. David Luty's not out there, and that's really a positive sign for the Bobcats because he held the Bobcats to just 2 base runners through 4 innings.
So TJ Satherly is the new man on the mound for Morehead State. He delivers a ball low. The right-handed senior out of Louisville, Kentucky, works from the wind. And this one is smacked down the left field line by Lucas. He's around first, and he'll have to hold the brakes. But a nice leadoff single by Trevor Lucas, as that was a hot shot off the bat. So welcome into the game, TJ Satterly. The Bobcats already looking like they like this arm a little better.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit to do with Looney being able to pitch well with his breaking stuff from the left-handed side. TJ Satterly is right-handed, and they dominated Garber, who was right-handed earlier in the game. So it'll be interesting to see how the Bobcats respond, seeing a different pitcher for the first time since the 3rd inning. And it looks like they responded well with this leadoff single from Trevor Lucas.
So the 3rd leadoff single of the game for Ohio, their 9th hit overall, as this one misses low, almost got away from Shoop. But he did gather it back, and he'll throw it back in time. So man on first for Aaron Levy, the reigning MAC athlete of the week. 0 for 2 tonight, did walk in his last at-bat. Does lead the team in that category, now with 13, as he has a 1-0 count. So TJ Satterly work from the stretch as he throws it back to first, trying to check Trevor Lucas, as he looks in, lights fully shining over Wren Stadium. Coming from the chest, Satterley looks in. Jumping around was Lucas. He does get back in time. A little interesting movement there from Lucas, just trying to get from the attention of Satterley, and he did. As Lucas, he's 2 for 3 on steals this season, and really any leadoff man in general is typically going to be a threat to steal, as this one misses outside. 2-0 count to Aaron Levy. Came into this game batting .227. Has also driven across 10 RBIs. And before he went, this past series, in every game he had a hit and an RBI, was just one of his last 10. So was in need of a bit of a breakout series, and he had just that this past weekend as he looks at a ball high and away, 3-0, as he looks to try to continue that streak. 0 for 2 tonight, but going to have 1, maybe 2 more at-bats this evening. And can maybe even get a little rally started to just extend that 6-1 lead even bigger than it already is. As Satterley comes set, his pitch misses inside. Back-to-back walks for Aaron Levy. That'll put runners on first and second for Ohio.
Levy just did a great job of making sure that Satterley gave him what he wanted, and he didn't do something to give Satterley a strike that he thought that he could get on Levy. Levy did a great job of drawing that second straight walk, and you look at him on the year, Aaron Levy with 12 walks coming in. That's walk number 14 as he leads the team, and for good reason, as he showed the good eye there that he has.
So Rudy Rote steps to the plate. Runners on first and second, nobody out. That is some sayings that Morehead State does not want to hear. As Satterley comes set, his pitch in the road, has him first pitch swinging, a little dribbler just off the mound. Satterley has it, mishandles it, and the bases are now loaded. TJ Satterley, it looked like he was trying to make the quick play and then try to get the lead runner at third. Fortunately, it looked like he thought about it a little too much, and Rudy Rote gets to first, and that will go down as an error, rightfully so. But Ohio now, for the second time in this game, have had bases loaded with nobody out. This is the offense, if not the run production, at least the possibility that they've been looking for all season, and they've gotten it to happen this weekend, and now it's happening tonight.
Yeah, I mean, this is what happens when you catch fire as a team. You do everything right, everything goes your way, and that's what's happening. They still have at least 2 more innings to hit with 2.5 innings to play.
Trevor Hafner looks at a ball low and away, 1-0. DJ Satterley, that is something you don't want to do as a walk a run in, as it almost just makes you cringe as a pitcher if you were to do that. But Trevor Hafner on the night, 2 for 3. His last at-bat was the first time he got sent back to the dugout after a flyout. But before that, it was 2 hits and ended up coming around to score in both of those. As a check swing foul goes right side towards the Morehead State dugout, as they have a right-hander up and working in their bullpen. Morehead State talked about earlier in this game, but a team ERA of 3.87. Tonight they have allowed 6 runs. In Ohio, all those came in just 2 innings in the second and third inning, and have yet to score since. And that's big attributed to David Looney, who worked 4 scoreless innings, only allowed 1 hit, 1 walk, and struck out 3. Right now, Ohio back threatening yet again. This pitch misses low in the turf. Count moves to 2-1. The right-handed hitting Trevor Hafner. As TJ Satterley works from the stretch, as his last appearance came on the 26th against Kentucky. He went an inning, allowed 1 run, which was earned, and also struck out a batter as well. So he looks in, gets his sign, comes set from the chest. His pitch, Hafner hits over to short and mishandled by Leonard. And just sliding in time was Rudy Rote. So back-to-back errors give Ohio their 7th run of the game, the first time they've scored since the 3rd inning.
That was almost a definite ground ball that's going to turn into a double play by Satterley, but Leonard just looked over as he fielded it and could not grab it from the glove into the throwing hand and toss over to second base. So it's going to be 2 straight errors, brings in a run, and Michael Richardson now stands in for the Bobcats.
3rd error of the day from Morehead State. That's now 39 on the season, as we see Michael Richardson, the right-hand hitting center fielder. Still nobody out. Bases still loaded. In Ohio, a 7-1 lead. As Satterley, he misses low and away. Count goes to 1-0. So the corners are in for Morehead State. Middle infielders playing double play depth, more so Peroni than Leonard. Leonard's almost in that default shortstop position. Outfielder shifted just a touch to the right, but still in normal standing position. As Satterley comes set, goes to the plate. This one misses low. Shoop, another nice stop. Count now goes to 2-0.
It's interesting to see here, Brad, since the infield is in, you can tell that, the corners are in, you can tell that Morehead State believes that this 6-run lead, they don't want it to get any bigger if it hits over towards the corners, as the corners look like they're going to come home with the ground ball if it's fielded towards them. But looks like they will also surrender a run as well if it hits up the middle. It's kind of confusing what Coach Mike McGuire wants to do here.
Satterley finally delivers a strike on the lower inside corner of the plate. Count moves to 2-1 strike. Nobody out. Bottom of the 7th inning. Ohio leading 7-1 as they're trying to get that double-digit hit, possibly in the hands of Michael Richardson. He's 1 for 3 tonight as he got a hit in his first at-bat and then a strikeout and then a flyout. So Satterley looks in. His pitch as fouled straight back by Richardson, just a bit under it. So the count is now tied up at 2. As Satterley on the season mentioned, just 12 strikeouts. Hitters are averaging .258 on the right-handed senior. As heading into this game, 2 runs all earned in his last 5 innings pitched. Trying to, as it's now 3 runs, as Ohio's already scored. As this one misses low, count goes full with nobody out. The earned run will still stay the same because 2 errors is essentially what has helped Ohio gain another run here in the bottom of the 7th inning. We have a full count with nobody out to Michael Richardson. TJ Satterley, a long look in. So Ohio trying to make a statement in this midweek non-conference matchup. The 3-2. That one was hit far, but well foul. A little excited was Richardson. Turned on it early. Partner, I think if he holds off for a second, that's at least going to be an extra base hit.
Yeah, that at least brings in a couple of runs, and Richardson obviously just way out in front of that. Looked like a breaking ball or maybe a little bit of a changeup from Satterley as he was expecting a fastball in the 3-2 count. Did a great job of fouling it off as he was so far ahead, but see what he can do here on the next full count pitch.
Satterley, full count. Misses low and away with a breaking ball, and Ohio tallies on another. Jogging in to score is Aaron Levy, as now Ohio leads 8-1. So the runners will move over, and we will see a pitching change, a right-hander to come in for the Eagles. But Ohio has already scored 2 runs, and nobody is out in the bottom of the 7th inning. It's 8-1, Ohio leading on Ohio Bobcat TV. Eight to 1, bottom of the 7th inning. Ohio leading, nobody out. All the ducks are on the pond for Traven Funderburk. But while he was in the on-deck circle trying to time up TJ Satterley, all of it doesn't necessarily go for nothing, but a new arm in for Morehead State. Zach Smith, the right-handed freshman from Carrollton, Georgia. He actually went to Alexander High School in Georgia, opposed to Chase Harris, who went to Alexander High School here. So a little bit of a parallel world going on. But anyway, going into Zach Smith's numbers, this is his 8th appearance on the season. He's allowed 3 runs, 2 of which are earned in 7 2/3 innings pitched. Has a 1-0 record. Comes in a tough spot. Bases loaded, facing the right-handed hitting Traben Funderburg. So a righty-on-righty matchup with nobody out. Bases loaded, bottom of the 7th. Funderburg, first pitch swinging, high fly ball into center field. Pauly moving back. It is caught. Runners all tagging and advancing, and each runner will get home safely. So Rote scores. Moving over to third is Hafner, and Richardson tagged from first to second, and Ohio is now leading 9-1.
The most impressive thing there, in my opinion, Michael Richardson, especially since the ball was hit towards center field, he saw that the throw was coming directly to the shortstop, trying to cut it off and get the runner out at third instead of him at second. So he smartly got a little bit off the bag, and once he saw the throw was going towards the cutoff, sprinted as quick as he could into second base and got there safely.
That's the second sack fly today for Traben Funderburg, as we see this breaking pitch from Smith, miss low and away to Cole Revels, and actually that run will go to TJ Satterley, just like the other 2 men that are still on scoring position are attested to him. So Zach Smith, the righty, working from the stretch, comes set at his chest, his pitch. His fastball misses away, 2-0. 1 down, bottom of the 7th inning. Cole Revels at the plate, the right fielder. He is 1 for 3 tonight, but does have 2 RBIs as he grounded into RBI double play back in the 2nd, and then RBI single in the 3rd before striking out in his last at-bat. Seeing in from the right side, that open stance. That pitch nails the lower part of the plate, 2-1. Ohio, Luke, is 1 run away from their past 3 games scoring in the double digits. If that offense, we keep alluding to it, but it seems like it's starting to come around in Athens.
Yeah, it was very struggling a lot at the start of the year, and they're doing a great job of making sure they get contact and playing well here as of late.
And this ball is hit into the right center gap. Caught, thrown over to third. Safely siding in is Michael Richardson, and then flying in to score was Trevor Hafner. And there is that double digits we were just talking about. So back-to-back sac flies give Ohio back-to-back runs. They've now scored 4 in this inning. So they really are and still can take advantage of those bases being loaded with nobody out.
Yeah, they've done a great job of even necessarily getting the outs with the balls put in play. They're putting the balls in play, and that's most important when you have nobody out and bases loaded, because when you put balls in play, you're going to most likely score at least 1 run, even if there is a double play, because you're able to put the ball in play and make the defense make a play.
So this pitch misses low to Nathan Mallett, and now a 3 RBI day for Cole Revels, as he now has 7 RBIs on the season, and Ohio is leading 10-1 in the bottom of the 7th inning. So the pitch misses low and inside by Zach Smith. Mentioned another run. That'll be attested to TJ Satterley. And the final man he's responsible for is on third base in Michael Richardson. It's interesting to see that Ohio has been aggressive with the tags. We saw from first to second, and every sac fly, the only person that's coming in as this pitch nails the outside portion of the plate. Isn't just going home, they're moving them to other bases as well.
It shows that no matter what, Ohio's aggressive because they know something could happen possibly here in these next 2 innings for Morehead State because of how good they are offensively. Shows that Rob Smith doesn't care what the score is right now. He wants to keep on pushing just in case.
This pitch is fouled straight back into the screen in front of us in the press box. 2-2 now is the count, 2 down. So now Zach Smith has a chance to possibly get out of what is another 4-run inning for Ohio. In the bottom of the 7th inning, Ohio still with a runner on third. Nathan Mallett, the catcher at the dish, looking for his first hit tonight. 2-2. This one popped high in the air. Looks like it will go into the left side of the infield. Smith will actually call off his third baseman Hill and make the catch himself. And that is the 3rd out of the inning. But not before Ohio brings across 4 more runs to give themselves a 3rd straight game, scoring 10 or more. A 10-1 lead for the Bobcats. So head into the 8th inning on Ohio Bobcat TV. Top of the 8th inning in Athens. Ohio has now scored in the double digits 3 games in a row, 10-1 being your score. New pitcher on the mound as well, replacing Chase Harris, who did a nice job of coming in for a third of an inning, striking out Hunter Fain when slight threat as Leonard was on first base. But coming into the game for the Bobcats, another lefty for Ohio is the redshirt junior Tony Ero. This will be his 9th appearance of the season, and in 2 2/3 innings has allowed 1 run, which was earned. He hails from North Canton, Ohio, a former North Canton Viking. So he comes to the mound, the southpaw, and we will see a pinch hitter at the plate as well. It'll be freshman Zach Boyd who comes to the plate, and he's actually an Ohio native from Kent, Ohio, attended Talmadge High School, so a lefty-on-lefty matchup to begin this 8th inning. As he replaces the center fielder Connor Pauley, who was 2 for 3 on the day. First pitch from Ero narrows the outside portion of the plate, 0-1. So Boyd so far on the season, this is actually his 21st game played, batting .121 with a .293 on base percentage. Last time he appeared in a game was on Sunday against UT Martin, went 0 for 1 and got hit by a pitch as this breaking pitch from Ero misses low and away. As Ero, he'll work from the stretch, even though he just came into the ball game, facing the leadoff man, Boyd. So kind of a sidearm attack. Nails the lower inside corner, 1-2. Ero, last time we saw him appear was on Sunday as well, as he faced 1 batter and did get that out. As his longest appearance of the season is only 2/3 of an inning, so it could possibly be a bit of a longer expenditure tonight. As he misses low and away, the count is 2-2. And Ohio does have 2 in the bullpen, a lefty and a righty. And Morehead State, they have 1 working in their bullpen as well. At the plate, the freshman Zach Boyd, a utility man, has played a little bit of infield, a little bit of outfield this season. As he looks at a high inside fastball, strike 3 for Tony Ero. That is his first strikeout of the night, his 4th on the season. That'll be out number 1 to begin this 8th inning. As that will bring up first baseman Trevor Snyder. Rather, we will have another pinch hitter. This is a lefty actually at the plate. It'll be John Burkhart. Burkhart, the junior, out of Gig Harbor, Washington. The transfer from Tacoma Community College. He steps into the dish with 1 out. As Ero, his first pitch, nice 2-seamer that rides the lower portion of the plate, 0-1. So back-to-back pinch hitters for Morehead State. Well, down 10-1, non-conference matchup. You're trying to just do anything you can, maybe see what some other guys have in the tank. Maybe some of these guys can perform that maybe don't get that regular playing time that you normally see. As Ero misses low and away, it'll actually go all the way to the backstop. And if you're guys like Boyd, like Burkhart, maybe not a regular starter, but do get regular playing time, it's your time to show out for your coach.
Yeah, really is able to, gives you the chance to start if something does happen, if an injury or something comes up. It shows that you can do what you need when you're called on.
This one rides the turf, scorching on the ground to Hafner, but he makes the easy play over to first for out number 2. So back-to-back pinch hitters have resulted in back-to-back outs as Tony Ero trying to work a perfect inning. And stepping up to the plate is third baseman Stephen Hill, as he will be the first right-handed batter Ero will face tonight. As Hill on the evening is 1 for 2 as he walked back in the 2nd inning, base hit in the 4th, and then grounded out in his last at-bat in the 6th inning. Currently sitting in the bottom of the 8th inning, Ohio commanding lead 10-1 right now. As Ero comes set from his waist to sign his first pitch, misses low, as actually bounces into the backhand mitt of Mallet. So Ohio, we mentioned, just coming off a series win against Bowling Green. Morehead State was coming off a weekend series loss, actually 1-2 to UT Martin. And the Morehead State bats have kind of been silent tonight as we see a strike called by Ero, 1-1. is the count now. It's a team that batting average .301. They do have 6 hits on the evening, but only 1 run to show for it when they have scored 206 as a team, opposed to Ohio's, who's only scored 96. But the tables have definitely turned tonight at Bob Wren. Tony Ero, he misses low and away, 2-1, 2 down. And similarly, can be said, I just mentioned about the Morehead State hitters for Tony Ero as well. Redshirt junior doesn't get much pitching time, but tonight does. A nice lead, can kind of show off his stuff and say that he wants to be a part of this rotation. This one is fouled back, and now the count is tied up 2-2 to Stephen Hill. Hill coming into this game, batting, swinging the bat well, .313 average, .423 on base percentage. As Morehead State went for double digits hits in their last game, but prior to that, the 3 games before were held to single-digit hits, which for the Eagles is rare to them, even though for most teams it can almost be a regularity. Missing inside is Ero, actually had Hill hop out of the way of it. So full count, 2 down for Tony Ero in Ohio. And we'll see a bit of a shift in the outfield. Center fielder Sebastian Fabic, who defensive substitution coming in beginning of this inning, moves to his left. Right fielder Revels moves a step over as well. So the payoff pitch just misses the lower right-handed side of the strike zone, and Hill will be on his way to first. The first walk tonight for Ero. Second walk drawn, however, by Hill. And we will see a mound visit. As I said, 2 have been warming up in the Ohio pen for a good amount now, and as we can see some Bobcats emerge out of their dugout, I believe we will have a pitching change. Question is to see if we'll see another lefty or a possible righty. Nevertheless, there will be one. So Ohio leading 10-1. We'll take a short break as we're in the top of the 8th inning at Bob Wren on Ohio Bobcat TV. Eamon Horadle is the new man on the mound for Ohio in the bottom of the, top of the 8th inning here at Bob Wren. Numbers a little bit confused as Ohio is leading 10-1 as he comes in for Tony Ero, who went 2/3 of an inning, had a strikeout in the first man he faced, and then suffered a walk in the most recent man he faced. So a man on first he is responsible for. But the rest of his line goes 2/3 of an innings pitched, no hits, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout. So Horadle is the right-handed freshman from Ann Arbor, Michigan. Hails from Ann Arbor Skyline High School. And in 16 innings pitched, a 10.69 ERA, is 0-4. This is his 9th appearance on the season. Does have 4 starts under his belt, as the right-hander will be seeing a pinch hitter, as it is redshirt junior Chase Sorter from Temple, Texas, getting his first hacks tonight. So he is a batting average of .256 on the season. So he'll be first pitch swinging. Fouls it right back. 0-1 is the count with 2 outs.
The redshirt junior comes to Morehead State after spending 3 years at McLennan Community College. Played in 44 games in his last season there, hitting 7 home runs with .279 as the average and 24 RBIs. Shows that he can swing the bat, and we'll see if he can do that here for Morehead State in the pinch hitting appearance.
Horadle comes set from his waist And this one is smacked in the left field. On his horse is Lucas looking at it. This one out of here. Morehead State with a little bit of a surge late, 2 outs in the top of the 8th inning. A 2-run home run for the pinch-hitting Chase Sorter. That's his 4th home run of the season and now 9th RBI. So Morehead State not going to go away with at least a few punches thrown, as it is now 10-3 in the top of the 8th inning. As that one wasn't necessarily a no-brainer, but Lucas, he took a few steps back and then just watched it sail over his head in left field.
Yeah, it was one of those balls that was hit hard enough that you knew it had the distance to get out. It was just if it was high enough, and it did, as it's hit about halfway up in the net behind the left field wall. It was almost a no-doubter. He probably took a couple of steps and knew it was gone, did Sorter. As like I said, has some power and now has 4 home runs on the year.
So one of those runs will be attested to Tony Iro. The other will be attested to Iman Horadol. So 0-1 after a looked-at strike. Now a swinging strike by Dom Peroni, the second baseman. So 0-2 now is the count with 2 outs. Horadol now having a conversation with the home plate umpire. Now we'll talk to his catcher, Mallet. And Mallet, it's got to be tough for you because this is now his 6th different pitcher you catch for. Normally you can get up into that number if it's a tight ball game, you're playing the strategy card, but normally you're only seeing 4, maybe 5 guys a game, and you kind of know which each one in regular rotation, but these midweek games, really anyone is available to pitch other than your weekend starters.
Yeah, I mean, when you're the catcher for the Bobcats today and Nathan Mallet, you know that there's probably going to be a couple of pitchers coming in.
This one smoked high into right field, but will stay in the ballpark as Rebels will make the catch for out number 3. But Morehead State tacks on a couple of runs, the first time that they have scored since the 5th inning. They cut the Bobcat lead down from 9-7. 10-3. We'll head into the bottom of the 8th when we come back on Ohio Bobcat TV. Bottom of the 8th inning. Ohio still with the commanding lead, even though they gave up 2 runs in the top half of this inning. 10-3. They'll see another new pitcher on the mound in Garrett Rogers, the right-handed senior from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, a transfer from Barton Community College, as he'll face the 9-1-2 batters. As his first pitch nails the lower part of the plate to Jack Longo, who got a base hit in his last at-bat, ripped one right over the middle for that single. As Rogers comes in relief for Zach Smith, as Longo bounces this one over to the left side of the infield. but it is foul, so 0-2 is the count to Longo. And a real interesting wind here for Garrett Rogers when he kicks the leg up, almost turns his back all the way to second base in the middle of the motion. As we see that wind, the 0-2, a big bender that drops just low and out of the zone, so the count goes 1-2.
Johnny Cueto-esque for Garrett Rogers on the mound, bending his leg, kind of twisting the hips all the way around to get a little bit extra power on the pitch.
As he misses low with a fastball, count now tied up at 2 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Ohio leading 10-3. Rogers, this is his 8th appearance on the season, has started 6 games, but this is in relief. In 22 innings pitched, a 6.14 ERA as his 2-2 misses low yet again, 3-2. So along with that 6.14 ERA, a 2-2 record, has struck out 27 on the season, and opponents only hitting 220 off of him. So his payoff pitch on the way to Longo, and nails the lower inside part of the strike zone, strike 3. Longo will go down looking, as that will now be strikeout number 28 for Garrett Rogers. And that was right on the corner, real questionable. Jack Longo, even if you do swing at that, that's probably just going to be one of those dribblers that is picked up by the catcher.
Yeah, you can't really do much with that pitch, and Garrett Rogers did a great job of kind of establishing where that bottom of the strike zone was with 3 straight curveballs and kind of changing the eye level with that low fastball from Jack Longo, who didn't really think it was where it was.
So fastball nails the lower part of the plate for Trevor Lucas with 1 out in the bottom of the 8th inning. And this could very well be the Bobcats' final trip to the plate tonight as they hold that 7-run lead. As this one misses low and away by Rogers. Lucas tonight is 2 for 4. As he has hits in the 2nd and 7th inning. Actually came around to score last inning as well after a leadoff single. As the 1-1 nails the lower portion of the plate, count moves to 1-2. Nobody up in that Morehead State bullpen at all. In Ohio, they do have one up. It looks like a lefty up and warming in the Bobcat bullpen. Currently a 1-2 count for Rogers. His pitch. Got Lucas swinging at the off-speed pitch upstairs. So back-to-back strikeouts for the first 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th inning. Rare to see a pitcher go upstairs with a changeup with that, but Rogers is feeling confident with it, and it clearly worked.
Yeah, he did a great job of making sure that it got Lucas off guard a little bit, and he was late on the pitch as well because he knew he was going to probably be a strike. He had to swing at it but couldn't make contact with it. Rogers quickly making work of the first 2 people in the batting lineup for the Bobcats, and now up Aaron Levy.
So the pitch misses low to Levy, the left-handed hitting third baseman. Bats right, throws left as he looks at a ball low, 1-0. So Rogers comes set. Now move to a stretch. Actually did that to the last batter as Levy swings through 1-1 with 2 outs. And last time Rogers made an appearance on the mound was March 26th versus Kentucky. In an inning, in a third of an inning pitched, allowed 2 runs, one of which being earned, did strike out 1, but walked 3, as he has now had 11 strikeouts in his past 3 appearances. So a high-volume strikeout guy. As he misses with this pitch, the count moves to 2-1. 2 outs, bottom of the 8th inning, between the Eagles of Morehead State and the Bobcats of Ohio. Levy fouls this one back behind us and makes its way to the Hocking River, just seated right behind Bob Wren. And the sun was glistening off the river today, but as we enter into the latter hours of the game, the sky is pretty much pitch black with those outfield lights and really lights all around the field lighting up the field for us and the bleachers today. Nice crowd on hand to Bob Wren as Levy fouls it straight back yet again. Ohio trying to keep their momentum building, build up a little bit of a win streak after they come off their weekend series win against Bowling Green. As this pitch misses low and in the dirt, count moves to 3-2 with 2 down. So payoff pitch will be on the way from Rogers. In Ohio, the batting average heading into this game was .218, but the different story was after this last series, a .342 average with 27 runs scored. That average is going to keep rising, especially after tonight, as this pitch misses low again Aaron Levy now has drawn 3 straight walks in his last 3 plate appearances. So the Bobcats have a runner on with 2 down. So that'll now give Aaron Levy up to 15 walks on the season. Mentioned he leads that category. So he'll stay in the front run for Ohio. As now Rudy Rote steps into the batter's box. He is 1 for 4 tonight, has reached twice, however, as he reached on a single and then also an error in his last at-bat. But he strokes one high into right field, back towards the right field wall. That'll one-hop the wall on the line. Rounding second, heading through third is Levy. He'll be on his high horse home. No throw in. Rudy Rote gives the Bobcats yet another insurance run in the bottom of the 8th inning as they now lead Morehead State 11-3.
That's the thing with the Rudy Rote. It doesn't matter what time the game it is. It doesn't matter if you're up 10 runs, down 10 runs. Rudy Rote's going to be able to score somehow for the Bobcats as he now gets his second hit of the game, reaches for the 3rd time. It shows that he's might be out of that slump that he was in for a little bit.
So Ohio now 11 runs tonight as Aaron Levy, props to him for still hustling, even in this cold air with a good lead, as he scored from all the way from first, as that brings up Trevor Hafner, the right-handed hitting second baseman, as he also reached on an error in his last at-bat as well. So 2 down still in the bottom of the 8th, and the Bobcats have put together a run on the scoreboard as Rudy Rote now stands at second. Rote with that RBI now up to 21 on the season, as that is a team high. As Rogers comes set from his chest, takes a look over at Rote. Now goes to the plate. Hafner did a good job of waiting on that one. Bloops it into center. On his horse coming in is Boyd. He won't get to it. Rudy Rote will score from second as he was off on contact. And Hafner will now be on first as he has an RBI single. Back-to-back RBI hits for the Bobcats.
It's great to see the Bobcats staying aggressive no matter what the score is. Now they're up by a score of 12-3. It doesn't matter in the Bobcats' opinion. They just want to get the bats going because they know for the early part of the year they were struggling to get the bats going, so might as well keep them hot as we continue into conference play, especially after this non-conference game, after putting up 12 runs.
So we see Sebastian Fabic into the game for Ohio. Actually came on as a defensive replacement a few innings ago as he's first pitch swinging, fouls it over to the right side and out of play. So Fabic, the sophomore from Lebanon, Ohio, batting .202 on the season, a .250 on base percentage. He's driven in 9 runs as this is the 25th game he's been in. And on Sunday had a nice outing against Bowling Green, went 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs. Also had a triple in that game as Rogers misses low with the pitch. Count goes to 1-1 with 2 outs. So standing on first is Trevor Hafner. Ohio has had back-to-back hits that have resulted in RBIs. They lead 12-3 in the bottom of the 8th inning. Trying to get a nice non-conference win against Morehead State. This pitch misses low yet again. Shoop, another nice stop. Credit to Shoop. He's been a good wall behind the plate tonight for Morehead State. Giving a lot of balls in front of him. We're simply scooping them. The count is 2 balls and 1 strike. With 2 out in the bottom of the 8th inning. The pitch. Fabic swinging through. 2-2 now. As Rogers has a chance to get out of this inning. So Morehead State did tackle 2 in the top of the inning. Well, Ohio has already combated that with 2 of their own. And with 2 outs and a man on, still a chance to tack that on. As Shoop can't really scoop that one, but still managed to keep it near him. He was quickly out of it. So a full count now for Sebastian Fabic, the right-handed hitting sophomore outfielder. And Hafner will be on the move on the pitch. He goes to the plate. Fabic fouls it off to keep this at-bat alive. And Fabic, who had no RBIs in the month of March, had all of them, or rather, vice versa, had no RBIs in February, retrieved all of his RBIs in the month of March, so really turned it around in the second month of the season. As this pitch is lined right up the middle, but moving over quickly was Perrone. He just didn't have enough juice on it, so he makes the catch just over second base to end the 8th inning. So Morehead State is down to their final 3 outs. We'll see if they can put together 9 runs. We head to the 9th inning. Ohio Bobcat TV. Ohio has brought in its closer in a non-save situation to try to close out this non-conference game against Morehead State. They lead 12-3 in the top of the 9th inning. Checking in is Brett Manis, the left-handed sophomore, as he has picked up the closing duties this season. In 11 appearances, has gathered up 4 saves, and just in 14 and 2/3 innings pitched has allowed 7 runs, 5 of which have been earned. So the sophomore southpaw from Port Huron, Michigan, as I mentioned, a non-save situation, looks to close things out on this Tuesday night in Athens, as we will be facing Arthur Sells. Actually came on a pinch hit in the 7th inning and struck out, let off that inning, much like he is in the 9th. First pitch just misses outside. Count moves to 1-0.
Another position change for the Bobcats. Devontae Washington now behind the plate to catch for Brett Manis as Nathan Mallett's day is done.
This pitch is looked at for a strike. Count moves to 1-1. In Ohio, this will be their only non-conference game of this week. Game against Shawnee State tomorrow, as this one is a 2-hopper over to short. Fundenberg, the throw to first, 1 hops to route, but not a problem for Rudy, as he scoops it for out number 1.
Rudy did a great job of making sure that he didn't stretch out too far for that ball, but also stretched a little bit to make sure he could play that ball before it played him, and played it on a 1 hop, as the hop was a big hop, so it was easier than it looked. But it doesn't matter because 1 out now for the Bobcats.
1 out, top of the 9th inning. Morehead State only 2 more outs to work with, as Manis works from the wind, misses just outside, as the count goes to 1-0. He'll be facing Brody Shoup, right-handed hitting catcher. Hasn't quite been able to get anything going tonight. 0 for 3 at the dish, as now he has not had a hit in his past 13 at-bats. As he pops this one, it'll land just over to the right of our broadcast position in the press box today, and the count moves to 1-1. Brett Manis, last time we saw him was a 2-inning performance on Sunday against Bowling Green, and he only gave up 1 run, which was earned, only 2 hits, and struck out 3 while walking 2 as he misses low and inside. 2-1 now, the count. So Manis from the wind, his 2-1 pitch is hit sky high in the air, and it will fall just in front of the screen. Tough play for Washington there, as you couldn't really tell if it was going to stay in fair play or not. But nevertheless, it is another strike, and the count moves to 2-2 with 1 down. And they'll actually have center fielder Fabic move over a touch to the right on Brody Shoup. So Manis from the wind, his 2-2. This one skied in the air to center field, moving a few steps over to his right and making the catch for out number 2. And so Morehead State down to their final out of the night. And it will be a pinch hitter to try to keep the Eagles' hopes alive. As it'll be Scott Wolverton, pinch hitting for Reed Leonard. So Wolverton on the season, 4-12. This is only his 8th game he's been a part of. But in those 7 games that he has, he fouls this one over the right side. He's had 5 RBIs. The transfer from Hutchinson Community College. And the last time we saw him at the plate was March 26th against Kentucky. He went down with a strikeout. So Manis, his 0-1 pitch. This one swung through, and now Morehead State down to their final strike of the ball game, down 9 runs. It is going to take anything more than a miracle for the Eagles to try to gather the strength to come back against the Bobcats tonight. So Manis looks in from the wind. His 0-2 pitch. Miss is high and inside on Wolverton. Wolverton, a junior out of Seward, Nebraska, originally. As last year at community college, batted .278 with 19 RBIs, but a .439 on-base percentage. Like to get on base to extend this game out. 1-2, swung on and missed, and that will end the game as it is all green and white tonight against Morehead State. Ohio, the victors 12-3 over the Eagles of Morehead State. So a strikeout will end this one, and Manis's final tally, 1 inning strong, no hits, no runs, did not walk any, and struck out 1. So tonight your winning pitcher will be the left-handed freshman Joe Rock, earns his 2nd win of the season. And Ohio earns their 8th win on the season as well. They'll improve to 5-7 at home. And Morehead State, their road woes will continue. They dropped to 6-10 while traveling. So, Luke, what final thoughts and observations for tonight?
Well, this Bobcats team, they struggled mightily in the early part of the season. They were hitting under 175 as a team, which is absolutely brutal for an offense. And since then, they've exploded for offense. They've scored, like you said, double digits in now the last 3 games for the Bobcats. They've hit in double digits in the last 4. Whatever they did a couple weeks ago in practice has really, really helped for this team. They've exploded offensively. They've turned into a completely different team. They're throwing strikes, getting people out. They're not trying to do too much on the pitching mound, and they're doing exactly what they need to do in the batter's box because they're exploding for runs. This team could be very dangerous if they continue this run that they're on.
So Ohio, tonight, another double-digit scoring outburst, another double-digit hitting performance. So things are starting to click for Ohio, and we've noticed there is some new faces into this team this year, so maybe it's taken a while to mesh. But after some non-conference, they're sitting at 3-3 before they head into their weekend series to head back into conference play. So to wrap things up for Ohio and Morehead State, once again, the final score of tonight is 12-3 in favor of the Bobcats. So for Luke Steiner, this is Brad Walker, and as always, it's been a pleasure.